And we're starting. And we're live. All right. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for tuning in. We're finally getting going. It's been a pretty fun week on the Bioware front or any kind of Anthem news front. If you've been paying attention to Twitter or YouTube, some videos have been released, at least 2 on the Anthem channel. And boy, oh boy, it's just fun for everyone, isn't it? Once again, joining me is UDP this Saturday, and we're going to be looking at some videos and some websites, and then we're going to have some fun interaction with you guys, getting some well, I don't know what we're going to give as prizes, but we're going to figure it out as we go, and hopefully we'll see how we can test how good you guys are at your Bioware lore. It's always a fun thing. People on my channel who love listening to me ramble about Bioware, I get to listen to you tell me what the actual Bioware lore or the marketing Bioware lore is, because that's one way to gauge how a game is going to be before it is released. You look at the marketing and see how consistent, how cognizant it is of the actual releases that came before, and well, hopefully they're not making it up as they go along. And as we know, in Bioware land, that has been the case from day one. Every major franchise has been winging it, seat of their pants, off the cuff. I don't know how to describe it. They have not planned ahead, and marketing is no exception. And we saw that very, very seriously with Andromeda, how there have been, it must have been at least 10, maybe 11 or so videos that were just so woefully inconsistent, if not poorly made, if not information dumps that didn't help the story one bit.
Tell that the marketing budget was running out at that point, because like you saw the Liam Costa one, right? And it was like there was just no quality in that whatsoever.
That was one. Yeah, that was where it's like he's testing out all the weapons and he's showing you all. It's like, okay, great, thanks. That's you are a shooter. Thanks. There's guns. Thank you very much, Andromeda. Can you tell us about the characters a bit, please? Why you're doing this thing? And the whole Andromeda initiative was rather ridiculous. The premise was faulty to begin with. The execution of how they presented that premise was ridiculous. They had no reference to the Reapers, no reference to the previous games, aside from mentioning Shepard once or twice. And, of course, there was the Shepard trailer, which, I mean, it's like, hey, Jennifer Hale, you're there. Thanks. Thanks for voicing this trailer, Jennifer. Okay, here's your $500. Please buy our game when it comes out. So, anyway, the launch trailer for Anthem has come out. We're going to watch that, and we're going to critique the hell out of it. So let's get started. We got a long show going.
You are the chosen few, protectors of our world.
Okay, first off, you're not the chosen few, and you're not the protectors of the world. You are a freelancer, as opposed to the Sentinels. The Sentinels are the actual defenders of the city you're in, whatever it's called. I can't even remember. Freelancers.
Fort Tarsus.
Fort Tarsus, right. Freelancers don't give a crap. They do it for money. You could have given them anything. It's like, hey, go into the field for an hour, because here's some money. They're like, okay. That's it. They'll do that, because that's what you are. You're part of a freelancer group. So you're not the chosen few. You are not the defenders of the city. It's just, I don't know why they're lying to us. Maybe the marketing team doesn't really know what happened with the previous videos or the website info dumps, if you can call them that. We don't know what's going on in the story exactly. Maybe there are some chosen few. We don't know.
But it's like, why are they the chosen few? Is there something special in them, or is it just where you just happen to be in the same bar as someone else when they were randomly selecting these people?
We don't know, but we'll find out eventually, I hope.
This is your time.
Incoming! Fire!
Out there,
Yeah, out there, woohoo. Timing all the action shots with music, very good. You got your token black woman. Not because I see her as a token black one, but because we're dealing with Bioware here, we have to say, oh, there's the female who's also a gender minority or racial minority or sexual. I don't know. It's one of those derivative versions of non-white male human. So we got to point that out.
Will fight the unimaginable.
With nuclear weapons or whatever the hell that was. Getting the biggest weapon tank that can fly and drop bombs on everyone. Okay, great game.
Feel the power of your javelin.
Yes, it feels like a big piece of metal. Okay. Getting really attached to my javelin as opposed to the characters. Like, feel the texture map. Ooh, it's a big piece of metal. It's a shield. The power in the shield, which just sits there and deflects bullets. It's like, yeah.
As someone who's played the game, you don't really get that much feeling of power behind it. You know, it's just kind of, meh. You know, it's just not really there. There's no sense of power behind it. There's no sense of whack when you hit someone with something. It's just kind of the health bar depletes and you just, oh yeah, I'm dead now. Oh yeah, I better do the death animation.
Well, I noticed the problem that you mentioned in the demo was the getting stuck when someone starts attacking you. It's like you're stuck on.
Oh god.
What was that, like a reaction animation? What was it when you get hit?
It's an auto climb animation, and there's that walking mech thing, the rope, and a lot of the time people just cheese it because it's the only way. Because if you try to take it head on, there's just too much open cover, and you'll just get absolutely annihilated. So you have to like kind of cheese it. And one of the ways is to kind of go in this little ravine bit. But every time you jump up, you auto climb, which means that you put your weapon away. And when you've got big Mandingo right there in front of you, you're kind of like, oh, I've got no weapon. While this thing's just staring down at you.
And you got hit. And I saw that on other playthroughs where for like 5 seconds, you're like, ding, 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 ding. You just keep getting hit. And you're like, oh.
That one was hilarious. I don't know what happened there. That's me being bitch slapped.
If you want, you could add that. We could add that to the playlist. We could see it just to see how ridiculous it is.
Yeah, when I get bitch slapped by them shapers.
This is how bad you lose in it. You get hit once, you're dead. Okay, great.
It's precision.
Now, if you remember was it Mark Dara talking about the 4 javelins? Precision was not towards this guy. Precision was for the ranger. So I don't know if interceptor is precision. I think it's just speed. And you wail away like a crazy man as a dual-wielding sociopath in a mech suit. So
it's the Tasmanian. It's like a miniature Tasmanian devil, or he's like Scrappy Doo.
Yeah, you're the light and fight, quick, jumpy around, triple jump, annoying little insect crazy guy who goes invincible for 10 seconds or some ridiculous amount of time. It's
where you just wail on someone's ass with 2 knives, like yeah.
Yeah, precision. That's what having 2 weapons is all about.
Rely on each other. Unleash your power.
And there's the wonderful tagline of Mass Effect. Sorry, of Anthem. And we're going to be looking at all the taglines over the years. So just remember that. I'm going to write it down. But unleash your power is the tagline, which makes you want to play this game, apparently. Or is the goal of attracting new players? I don't know. It's like saying, press the fire button. Attack with your weapon. You know, do the thing that we gave you the options. It's like, thanks. Yeah. Doesn't really tell me a whole lot about the game or the story. Just that you can unleash power that you are purposely having. It's really a lame tagline. I just can't believe of all the things.
This feeling. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I think they got this going to have this lame thing of like your javelin is the special kind of javelin that's got its potential unlock. You have to unlock it by leveling up, something like that. You know, And that's like unleash your power, and like, oh, it's the tagline they've made it. It connects.
Yeah, they've said this over the weeks, and it's like, why, why should I unleash my power? Give me a reason. Imagine there was a big issue with the term power or a symbolism with power, and there's a power source, and you need influential power, you need political power. There's all these multiple levels of the definition of using power. So when you get into brass tacks, you say, okay, I gotta actually get into my javelin and do some damage here. It's time for unleashing some power. It has meaning on multiple levels. We don't even know why we're getting in our javelins yet. We have no clue. I'm sure there's more efficient ways of acquiring resources than getting to a mech suit and shooting a bunch of wildlife. There's got to be more to acquiring pineapples from an alien world than military behavior. There's got to be a better way. So why are we doing this? We still don't know, and they haven't given us a reason aside from it's a looter shooter. So.
Never give up.
Yeah, never give up. Why? Why can't you give up? Can't you retreat? I mean, basic tactic. Seems smart. There's going to be a lot of bullet sponges in the game. It's like, oh, this is getting boring. We can't beat this guy. All right, retreat. No, never go.
You just glitch out the guy and you just keep pinging him from range. He's just like, oh no, I can't shoot through that. That's what I did.
Is that what it comes down to? You just like back off a bit. You're like, oh, wait for my shields to regenerate, and then just repeat.
It's what you do in these games, mate. There's nothing you can do, because if you try to engage them in an open field, because a fair lot of them use hit scan weapons, especially when you lean with a lot of lag, you kind of have to compensate for that. So you really have to glitch the system in sense of you run out, you fire a couple of rounds, and you jump back in again, and that's it. Because especially if the Colossus switches, you don't get a shield. Which means that you do get the brace shield, I should say, which does regenerate, to be fair, but every other class gets the blue shield that regenerates. So you just kind of... Oh, sorry.
So if you're a Colossus, you're stuck. You're pretty much...
Yeah. I mean, you can still kind of get out of the way, but you just have to be a bit more direct. You have to... You're the heaviest guy with the largest amount of health, and you have to stand back. You have to stand further back. It's kind of strange.
Yeah, the most defensive, the most powerful doesn't get a shield. I'm like, why? He has the best weapons, the best gear, but nope. Can't give him a shield. Not a good idea. Thanks, Bioware.
Let's go!
You are freelancers.
Whoa, you make money doing mercenary jobs. Whoa. Is that the tagline now? You are a freelancer. It's like, thanks. I'm a merc for money. Okay, great.
And for the search for more money.
That's what it is. You're here to make some money. Just like Bioware. Aw. Where did they get that idea from?
I just don't understand this whole idea of, like, once again, the freelancers, like, they're being treated like this kind of mercenary group, but they're being awed in a kind of like only they can go out. But it's like, well, anyone can go out, because as we've seen with the Dominion, any Tom, Dick, or Harry can walk around in the forest. It's like, why do you need these powerful suits to use these things if you could just take them out with regular firearms, which they do have?
And the first pre-rendered video we saw was of that guy in the market saying, oh, I just paid some guys who weren't freelancers to go and do a mission, and the price was right. It's like, well, yeah, what's wrong with that? Oh, they got caught. It's like, what do I care? Why should I? You got to go save them. It's like, why? This is your problem. I mean, this is pretty stupid, but...
I mean, you can see that's the one where the walker just like falls over, just goes, oh, for bloody sake, and sets on fire for no reason. It's like it's in The Simpsons, Like, that would be an interesting thing of like, right, I send these guys out, made a mistake, you need to go back, get that tech back because it's kind of important to us. It's like, oh, Jesus Christ, But then you're like, okay, we do need the tech, because these things are very valuable. They're very hard to come by.
And we're going to be talking about technology and the lore of Anthem later on, just because, well, again, there's not much released, and what we have seen has been pretty bad. And if there's any indication of getting a bad product, if there are problems with your marketing, and there are holes in the story of your marketing, as we've just seen with this video, chances are you don't have a very good story to begin with, and the people trying to sell your product can't do a good job because they don't have solid selling points to make from it. They can't do a effective marketing strategy, let alone a tagline, to showcase what this product is about, what it's good for, how it works, how it's fun. It's all just glitz and glamour so far. All on the promise of you're going to play with your friends, it's going to be great, you're going to have fun, bibbity bobbity boo. There might be some events, there might be some raids. That's it. That's all we get. So, yeah. Do. Yep. Here's our next one. The official gameplay series.
Welcome to part 2 of the Anthem gameplay series. In this episode, we are going to look at the expanding world of Anthem and its endgame content.
Now, I'm kind of curious why endgame is so important. Then I realized that after you go through the single player part, or whatever, the story part, everything about the game is endgame. And by endgame, they mean the actual product after launch, meaning the raids, all the events, any of the additional content they add to it as the game is going through its paces. So it's kind of hard to describe what endgame means because they don't even know. And we're going to see that in a website post they made. But let's just see what the video has to say for it.
We're a long way from the cenotaph, and the storm is worse than we thought.
This is it. Close as we get with the Striders.
Agreed. Looks like we fly from here.
So what are Striders and what do they do? Does anyone know?
They stride, of course. That's what they do.
Are they caravans? Do they move stuff like resources that your
Why do you need a strider? Like, why do you need to walk? What's wrong with tanks and tracks with and napalm? Like, if you're working through forests.
And why would you need a quadruple pedal machine? Why not just have it like a big car or a big truck or like?
Yeah.
Did they not like? Is it completely a jungle and the jungle just is so exotic and crazy that you need striders? Like that would tell us about the environment, I guess. But these striders walk through the city. I mean, what do these things do? What are they? We still don't know this basic information of what these things do, why they're here, and how they're used. So, not good. By design alone, like when you have form following function in your design, you're like, okay, they can walk. What for? Why do we need a giant walker? So, no explanation.
To start Anthem, you are a freshly recruited freelancer that joins a failed mission to shut down a cataclysm called the Heart of Rage.
It beat us, Alec. We need to regroup.
It is up to you to redeem the freelancers and ultimately find a way to succeed in silencing it.
Okay, so there's something called the Heart of Rage. There's a person called Alec. There's a cataclysm. There's the thing that lady said at the beginning. I can't remember.
Cenotaph.
The cenotaph. There's all this stuff that are just nouns with no explanation. And in the previous video, we were told that we're the chosen few, defenders. It's like, no, we're a newbie. We're just an average schmuck going about our business trying to make money. That's it.
The most dedicated freelancers will push themselves against tougher and tougher challenges, taking on more daring and deadly quests. In order to do this, you will have to improve not only yourself, but your arsenal of javelins. This is where your path to glory begins. As you continue to level up and become a more powerful pilot, new content and challenges will become available to you.
Okay, so they don't even know what the new content is. They're just saying, hey, this is the end game. You keep playing, and the best guys get the best stuff by playing the hard levels. It's like, yeah, true. What are these levels, sir? What that you speak of? Why are we doing this? They
Oh,
still,
to take on the bigger monsters, you get loot. To take on the bigger monsters, to get even more loot. Duh.
yeah, I know. Everyone gets that. We understand. That's what a looter shooter is. But can you give us a reason why? Like in Destiny, you're like, I don't know the story behind Destiny, but I know the premise. It's like humanity's on its last legs. You got to protect this base, and if you don't, everyone's dead. It's like, all right, that's pretty important. So doing extreme things, doing crazy maneuvers, getting wickedly powerful weapons, like, all right, you need an arsenal. Makes sense. This, it's like everyone's pretty peaceful. You know, the previous free market got blown away for whatever stupid reason, but that hasn't happened in a while. So what's the big conflict? Where's the rising action? Where's the what's going on? Essentially, why are we playing this game?
With 6 modes of difficulty, including 3 which are unlocked in Endgame,
And let's be clear about those 3 last modes. All they do is increase the difficulty, and by difficulty they mean the health and the damage output of the enemies. So if they have lots of health, they have the Grandmaster level is 100%. The next Grandmaster level is another 100. Was it 1,000%? They just
Some ridiculous, yeah.
that's all it is. There's no new AI. There's no new enemy types. There's no new AI tactics. It's just bullet sponge times 10 or times 100.
Yeah, at least the Division, when they've said in their end game, an entirely new faction invades the previous places that you've been to before. So you kind of so you retread previous ground, but now you're fighting new types of enemies. So at least you got something there to go back to.
Yes, the Anthem, the Division trailer we saw this week actually showed some decent weapon types, because one of the problems with Division was really bad weapon types. They had weapon sponges. Those are still a problem, but they're not as big a problem based on the size of your squad. So if you have 4 people in your squad, they become a bigger bullet sponge. But if you're just soloing it, the Division is like the by yourself playing is fine. Like it's reasonable. The joke was that there's a guy in a hoodie and he's basically a tank. And
Yeah.
you're unloading like 7 clips of
Yeah.
the best ammo, and you're like, the guy's still standing. You're like, what the fuck?
Like just covered himself in New York pizza. And he's just bulletproof. 'Cause that stuff is tough.
In the Anthem world, I guess you can sort of argue the whole technological alien, like whatever you want to wrap around your brain. Oh yeah, these things are very strong and big and old and whatever. It's like, yeah, okay. But yeah, Division, contemporary setting, not so much. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they got Anthem has the sci-fi angle for it, for believability at least.
and will have a challenge for all levels of players, from easy to Grandmaster 3. The higher the difficulty, the better the chances you will have in finding the rarest gear and personalization items in the game.
When you want to make a statement, maybe polish that javelin up with a nice coat of pain and thunder.
What's the use of...
Wow. I want to make a statement, so I want to deck out my suit.
Yeah, you know, this is just me talking from a cosmetic standpoint, but I think it would be fantastic if they added an element of damage decals. So as you're going out on these expeditions, your suit becomes more and more damaged and battered. So you actually have to repair it and actually like repolish your javelin.
And
Like
it might,
you basically re-spray painted it.
it might perform better. You might get more HP. You might get more armor, whatever. And it's like a
Like
normal
armor
thing.
degradation.
Yeah, you go get cleaned up. You go replace your shield or whatever. It's like, yeah, of course, everyone does that.
System fails, things like that. You know, HUD starts to fail. Yeah, there could be a lot interesting. So if you're doing these long expeditions, the further you go out of that, it's like, yeah, your suit will have a limit because it's got a physical limitation to it. Therefore, you have to go back to Fort Tarsus or your Strider to get yourself re-geared back up and rearmed and enter the fight again.
Yeah, I mean, these are all great ideas, and it reminds me of the first time I saw damage, like Project Gotham Racing. You have this beautiful, sleek-looking sports car. You ram it into the boards, and you know the whole front or the whole back is just wrecked. But that was good because like, oh wow, I totally ruined my car, even though there's no, there's no penalty. You don't go slower. It just looks bad, and you don't pay any money to get it fixed. It's just an aspect of realism, which in a contemporary driver setting in a town or city, it's like, yeah, okay, this would probably happen to your beautiful car if you did this. So, in the world of, I don't know, mechs that can do triple jumps in the air and fly around like a hornet, I'm like, eh.
It reminds me of there's a old game, I think it was based on the Quake engine, called Destruction Derby. And that one had like, you had like area specific location, and obviously if like you blew out your tires, like your car wouldn't turn and do things like that. But it has like, obviously had your 4 tires and like your engine, all sorts of crazy things. That was like a late 90s game, I think, if I recall.
The first time I've seen destructive environments was with Red Faction, where the first boss you come across, you hide behind this concrete pillar, and the pillar just gets destroyed as he's shooting at you. And you're like, ooh, that is so cool, but I am so like, it was one of those moments you're like, oh, they're using that new thing in the engine, and they're using it in a proper way. And I thought, that's smart. And now we have like Battlefield 5 with entire buildings that are destructible. So.
Not quite. Their destruction is different from Frostbite 1 and 1.5. Like in Bad Company, if let's say a sniper's in the building, he's giving you some grief, you just get in a tank and give him the good news. You know,
there goes the building.
This entire building just gets leveled.
That's why that game's so popular. Okay.
Yeah. It's like the snipers like really annoying in games in general, especially if they got like really hard cover. But in that game, it's just like, say hello to your cover because you're going to say goodbye to it very soon.
Being the best pilot in Bastion if your style doesn't match your power.
So you said the best pilot in Bastion? Is that what he?
Yes.
Okay, so Bastion's is another location aside from Fort Tarsus? I don't know.
Section D, paragraph 7 of Fort Tarsus Agreement.
There's a lot of places we don't know. We don't know the geography, the topology. We don't know all the factions and the political landscape.
We have a map, please.
Okay. This is basic storytelling. Whenever you have a fantasy setting or a sci-fi future setting, you have to lay out the groundwork. What planet are we on? Who are these humans? Where did they come from? What time is it? What year is it? Who are these alien light? Like, you have to give us information. And yeah, that doesn't matter. The person just wants to play a game and play with their friends, but we want more than just a game to shoot things with your friends. You can go play GTA. We can go play any number of free games for that. And we really want to know why Bioware is devoting all this time to not being a Bioware studio anymore, and instead trying to compete with Bungie and whomever who make looter shooters. So, kind of sad. Don't know what's going on here, but thanks for all the nouns, Bioware. I'll just write them all down so I can remember when you ever tell me what they are in the marketing next time properly.
Greeting friends in our social hub, the launch bay, to how you arrive on missions or celebrate your victories, we give you lots of opportunity to show off your javelin style.
See, this kind of annoys me. We've seen a lot of poses and dances, and that's fine. It's all cosmetic. I don't really care, but it's like, that's it. That's all there is. It's kind of like you can pimp your ride and you can get this emote, and it's like, okay, so what? It's just childish. It's just this silly little thing. Like, I remember the pre-rendered video of like, we'll watch in the next video because we have a critique of that. It sounds so hokey. It's like, hey, I'm going to go, you should get the EXP. It's really important. It's like, okay, fine. And it's like, ugh, no one talks like that. Like, it's not this gamer talk. It's like some paid actor talk of what they think a marketing pitch is. It's
sorry.
It's just silly. It's childish.
Yeah, it's the problem that I'm noticing with all these looter shows, especially with Anthem, kind of exacerbates this. The thing that you're doing the most is actually the most boring, and you're just focusing on that just to get this little emote. So you're literally slogging your way through just for a little wave, or something like that, which kind of defeats it, and that's why it kind of fails as a shooter. Unfortunately, the shooting's just not interesting. Well, it's interesting at first, but once you kind of get into the rigmarole of the types of enemies, which there aren't that many of, you can easily just defeat them by circle strafing and walking backwards for the most part.
Which is pretty much tactics that they used in Mass Effect Andromeda multiplayer, which arguably was fun. Obviously, people enjoyed it. But why wasn't it as fun as Mass Effect 3 multiplayer? Because people would rather have played that, obviously because of the bugs and what happened that occurred as they were balancing and testing the network code. But people still say, yeah, Mass Effect 3 multiplayer was pretty still fun in comparison, even though there was more controls and more mechanics with the dodging and the jetting in the air and all the lateral movement. So why is that? I don't know. I think that'd be nice to ask people who really played MEAs and ME3s and now in Anthems to say, yeah, here's the reason.
Anthem actually makes a really, really big boo-boo when it comes to the looter shooter aspect. Because like with Mass Effect 3, which is kind of, it just have the loot system, which has a randomized thing and whatnot, but the modes in that are very, very quick, short and snappy. Like you're talking maybe 10 minutes a pop, tops. But in this, your excursions could last a long time. So let's say, for example, you fight a big monster and you kind of go, okay, you've got this item drop. You cannot equip that brand new item until you go back to base. So you're constantly going backwards and forth, you know? So it's like, oh, I've got this brand new weapon. You can't equip it. You can't put it into your inventory and give it a whirl or anything like that. There's nothing like. You have to go all the way back to base, end your expedition, go to your forge, equip it then, so you can get the other item off it, and then put it back on.
Now,
and then off you go.
Now, do you know that it's the actual weapon when you pick it up, or do you have to wait until you get back to your base?
You kind of have to wait. Like I didn't really get any indication if that was the actual weapon itself. It just kind of went, oh yeah, it's a green, it's a purple, it's a whatever.
So you don't actually know. So this is what we're going to talk about in the next video, because this was what they apparently sold us on in one of their first reveals, and they changed it for whatever reason.
Yeah, well, the UI is a huge mess, actually. It's just so many. Like, everyone complained about ME1 having lots of menus. Jeez Louise, it makes ME1 look like a paragon of game design because the weapons are actually located into area types like here's assault rifles, here's shotguns. Anthem is just, here's a big list. Enjoy. And you're just like, oh, gee. And you have to go through every single one, hovering my eyes over, like, is that better than this one? And another thing as well is just that you equip on one, and it's like, okay, you're just going to be replacing that one item. You can't compare it to two. So it's not like a quick drop and grab like you could do in, let's say, Borderlands 1. It's just so ass backwards. It just kind of got a bit frustrating.
Well, with Borderlands, if anyone has ever played it, the way the weapons work, they're all based off companies that produce them. So each company has their own their own style of weapons. So some weapons would be based off high damage, low recoil, or is it high damage, slow reload? You know, there's all these different styles of weapons, and it's stylized. So every logo has its own look. Every gun has its own color scheme, and there's an obvious attachment. Kind of like how in Mass Effect 2 they streamlined the weapons as well. Obviously not as iconic, but you had a vibe. There was a feeling. There was a style. And with Anthem, we don't really know. They're just guns. We don't know what the mechanic is yet, or the visual motif for each weapon. And I'm not saying all the weapons are the same, like in Mass Effect 1, but a visual clue or cue would be a very good way of doing that, as we saw in Borderlands. So,
but you can't even test them out. You have to go into an expedition to test out your weapons. So you may think, oh, this weapon's really great. And you're like, I don't like it. So it means you have to go back in, go to the foot, re-equip another weapon.
Right. And if we're talking about affection or how great a weapon is on the field, it's like, okay, well, my missile launcher, my grenade launcher are all equipped on my Colossus. Why would I want a handgun? I don't even know if you can do that with the Colossus, but it's kind of like, why?
Yeah, it's really bizarre of how they've just done it. Like I had a rifle, it was a blue one. It was actually quite a good one. Like had all the damage properties, fired in 4-round bursts. I was just like, oh, really. I don't like burst fire weapons. That's just personal preference, so just shows you.
Each suit has many ways to get it looking just the way you want. From unique armor pieces, customizing
yeah,
colors.
by the way, sorry. When you load up, you've only got one. I'm not sure if this is for, because we only went into one area, but I really hope that you have all the javelins available to you, like in the trailer. Because Jesus Christ, trying to switch javelin and making sure that that's the javelin that you want was a bit awkward. I kind of fought with the controls a little bit in terms of which one I wanted to select, rather than just having them all laid out and kind of going, yeah, you've got that javelin, you've got that javelin, you've got that javelin, walking towards it and bugger off. It's just all, you have to go into a menu to select. You have to go into a loading menu into the inventory. It's really bizarre.
I would imagine it's based off subcategories. You start off, you have the 4 base, then you go into the base, and it has all the loadouts, and you saved your loadouts from before, and you just pick and choose.
Kinda. It's just so ass backwards. Like they kind of got this whole, like you say, you can choose your dynamic in terms of, my range has got venom darts instead of the beam weapon or anything like that. But you're going to pick the most. Everyone's going to go full meta in terms of what's going to give me the most damage per second. Is it going to be alpha damage? Is it going to be sustained damage? People are going to focus on that. They're not going to care about, this thing fires darts out. This thing, no. They're going to go, what kills this thing faster? And that's it.
Color and textures to collecting vinyls and emotes. Your suit will soon become a
What's a vinyl? Does anyone know?
It's a disc, isn't it? A record.
Yeah. I was like, what?
We're going to go 1960s.
Start spinning some records? What's going on here?
Yeah. That's why they're drilling for oil.
Oh, yeah. Right. Petrol products. Okay.
Of yourself, making your wins all the more glorious. Once you reach the pilot level of 30, you will continue to improve.
It's actually saying about how Warframe doesn't have AAA appeal. Last year, they had 38 million people playing the game. Puts into perspective, So.
The free, you can play as much as you want game, which has mechs and all sorts of spaceships and God knows what else.
It's got even it's got space. Apparently they're adding in spaceships, that whole shipboarding thing. They've got an open world thing as well. And that's all from like a middle market studio, Digital Extremes. Then you got Bioware with their AAA budget. And goodness knows how many people working on the project for goodness knows. I mean, there's been things in development since at least 2014. And this is what they've shown up with. Come on.
Well, every initial launch is going to be a little, not shabby, but rickety, because they're testing the waters. They haven't done enough testing. It's not a finished product. Great, but usually they have something that is polished enough to show off and say, "Hey, we got the story figured out. We got the gameplay figured out. All the rest is just additions and tweaks to make sure it's balanced." But I don't see that yet. I just see a lot of cosmetic crap and a lot of explosions. So, not really selling me on the game so far.
Improve your javelins by finding or crafting the rarest gear. That's where our endgame content really begins for you. At this point, you have likely finished the core story mission and your focus will begin to shift to new objectives. These are challenges, contracts, free play, and strongholds.
Matthias Sumner was investigating some relics at a ruin near the fort. I need you to find him.
Right there, everyone.
Yes. Welcome, Mass Effect Andromeda team, to the Anthem project. Because, we didn't expect you not to work on more Andromeda projects, but hey, Anthem's on sale soon, so why not?
We totally weren't stealing people from the Andromeda project.
Not at all.
You know what? I'm waiting for some fans to be like, well, what if Anthem are actually the renegades from Andromeda? I'm just waiting for it. Have I just inadvertently just blown their minds?
These are all renegades from Andromeda?
Yeah, these are the people that got kicked off the Nexus.
And now you know why.
Ah, that's how they survived. This explains how they survived for so long. There you go.
They took all the equipment, started making mechs because I guess they watched too much Japanese anime. They're like, yeah, this is how it's gonna work now.
Robot Epilepsy 2006.
Why don't we have robots yet? I don't know. Let's do that. Okay. What about survival and peace with aliens? It's like, no. We need war machines. We need to put our bodies into. It's like, oh, okay.
Him back home safe.
People you meet in Fort Tarsis will sometimes need your help and offer you contracts. These are unpredictable missions in which you deal with various problems in the world. By increasing your reputation with different groups.
That was, a little bit of visual storytelling there. A bunch of people doing quirky things.
Not having the safety catch on your weapon. That's always nice.
Yeah, not having any context doesn't help either. I'm like, what the hell's going on?
Your basic safety precautions when handling a weapon. Just pick it up, just put your finger on the trigger and set it onto full automatic. There you go. We're all safe and locked and loaded.
We're in the future. We have mechs that can fly, but we don't understand technology very well.
The shape has willets that they have no safety catch.
the ancestor says it was unwise. It's like, oh, okay.
The same ancestor that fought walking striders through streets where children play. It's like you get the impression that the ancestors are just insane.
Yeah, let's put the really dangerous relic at the base of our city. So if ever we touch it, it blows up. Great plan. Great place to put stuff.
You'll gain access to crafting blueprints. Doing daily, weekly, and monthly challenges will provide you crafting material and coin. This is a great way to make not only new gear, but further personalize your javelins. On occasion, people will offer you legendary contracts.
That's a literal board. I like that. It's actual, I don't know what language that is. I don't know why they have to use some alien. Everyone's speaking English. Why don't you write in English, for God's sake? No, it's got to be... Oh, whatever.
Fakey wordy words. For fakiness. It's actually Braille. It says don't touch.
And they're all using paper, of course, because, we just have networked communication devices in our heads. You can just talk to anyone anytime. It's like, no.
Can you imagine that? Like you're flying around and someone, like some cold call is like, hey, you got a contract for you. Do you want a ticket? No, go away, I'm flying.
It's like, no. I'll come back to the old Bristol board and thumbtacks. I'll go see the paper posting. Don't leave me alone. It's not real if it's not paper, man.
Legendary contracts.
Hello.
These missions have multiple parts to them and are far more difficult to complete.
Yeah, if you stand around like an idiot and get punched at, yeah, it will be harder.
That ranger animation looks very similar to the Andromeda dodge animation with the jet.
Yes, that's been pointed out.
Uncanny.
Yeah. The dodging, the jump, yeah, it's very similar, it's true.
In this case, Matthias Sumner, an Arcanist, hires you to not only provide valuable field research, but also stop a Dominion plot to wake a Titan.
The Dominion are bad? I don't know. They said plot, so I'm like, ooh, they have intentions, they have desires, motivations, aspirations, they have goals. There's a whole arc going. It's like, nope. We don't know. They're just some guys. Like, all right. Is that good? Is it bad? Do we like them? Do we help them? Like what? Because we saw that cutscene where the Dominion totally destroyed a frickin' city. So we're guessing they're bad. But then there's Dominion walking around in Fort Tarsis where it's like, oh, so they're not bad? It's very confusing. They won't tell us what's going on. I don't know why. Can you just give us an answer, Bioware? This is not like there's all these political parties and they're all fighting over dominance. It's like, no, they're just factions. They're just there. And we don't know what they're worth, what they're doing, what they want. They're militaristic, but whoop-de-doo. So is everyone. There's guys walking around in mechs in the town. Everyone's militaristic. Why? Who? Where? When? What's going on? Don't know. Couldn't tell you.
Why are the Dominion trying to resurrect a Titan? Whatever a Titan may be. I know what a Titan is. It's kind of like, why? What's the purpose of that? How are they going to control it? Are they going to control it? What are they doing? What's the objective here? What is the overall objective other than just Operation being a dick?
Yeah, if they would say, hey, the Dominion want to do X with the artifacts and they'll do stop at nothing, but they're doing this under the guise of peace and prosperity. It's like, oh, they have an economic and political ideology I could wrap my goddamn small brain around. Thank you, Bioware. I can relate to these people. As opposed to, hey, there's an evil doctor from the 3rd or 4th or 15,000th Reich, and he wants to interface with this Shaper relic thing and attack a city, and it's like, oh, okay. And it blows up, and you're like, oh, that didn't turn out too well. I guess Shaper relics are really dangerous, huh?
Who'd have thunk it?
Wow, it's like, that's it. Like, that's all we get. Give us some more. Give us a goddamn reason. Even Mass Effect Andromeda, as retarded as the Ket were, we knew that they were the bad guys. And yeah, they were Saturday morning cartoon level, but it's like, oh, I can understand the dumb bad guys. Here it's like, what is... They're just factions, and they want to do stuff in the wilderness. It's like, so go do it. I'm a freelancer. What do I care? It's kind of hard to play the gray, the guy who's in it for the money character, in a sea of, well, there's really no ethics involved. It's just sort of factions. Like, we believe in this, we believe in that. Like, imagine the Courier from Fallout New Vegas. You have a plot of vengeance. You are there to get a guy who tried to kill you and figure out along the way why and what happened. That's it. All the factions are window dressing and in association. You find out as a result of this vendetta you've got, there's more going on, and you're really a key player in all that. That was neatly played out as the game went on. Here, you're just a guy who gets into a mech and goes into the jungle for money. So your whole motivation is, who's going to give me the most money, and then what? Like, what's the purpose? Is it to have a better life? Is there a story of it? But no, there's no romance. There's no relationships. You're just part of the freelancer faction. And it's like, okay, do I start caring now? Like, what's the point? So there has to be something else besides going into the wilderness and fighting. There has to be.
What's also the thing of money? Because like you saw in the previous one that we looked at with Exlatals, where the Dominion evil dude with the big voice changes, like, I can offer you money. It's like, oh, so money's now standardized across the factions. What's the money made out of? Is it gold? Is it silver? What is it? Why is money involved in this kind of world in general? Wouldn't a barter system be more preferable?
Right. And if we discovered the technology that can duplicate humans by bashing it around on a table, why not go to the local bakery and go, hey, do you have any Duracells? Yeah, I need to charge up this thing. And then start smacking some bread rolls across it and start duplicating bread. And all of a sudden, the price of bread will decrease. You'll solve hunger. And Duracells will go through the roof. This is market forces at work. So it's like, oh, great, cool. This is kind of cool. You can actually tell a story with alien technology doing all this crazy stuff. And maybe the bread isn't as healthy, but you'll survive. Maybe everyone's like, I don't see anyone dying of hunger or thirst here. I don't see a major concern, right? Like there's nothing nothing pressing that we have to solve. It's just like, hey, we've got mechs. It's like, okay, can I go hunt you some beef? Or like, no, we're good. We've got all the resources. We're okay. It's like, oh,
where are all the farm? Like, if you've walked yourself off, then where you're eating from, where you're getting your food from if you've walled yourself off like that.
They gotta have some kind of hydroponics. They gotta have some kind of. They gotta be growing something somewhere, right? It can't just be a constant hunter gatherer. It can't be a hunter gatherer facility where you just constantly go out and steal from nature and then bring it back. But again, I saw no story. The only caravans we see are those giant walking mechs, but we don't know how that works. We don't see any, like imagine there was an actual farming exosuit group and they were like vital to the operation of the city for people to eat and drink and sell in the market, and the marketplace takes it and then sells to the people. Like, great, you're making sense, game. You're telling us that there's a marketplace and there's an economy and people eat and drink and all that crap. Great.
Yeah.
Don't have to, but give me something to latch my brain around with how the hell you guys are still alive, how this works, why this works.
Reminds me of when. Sorry.
Just give me some sort of like lifestyle that you could wrap. Like, I can't wait to grow up and be a freelancer. It's like, why? We know people can become doctors, so there must be some schooling system. We know there's crazy scientists, and we know there's a bartender. Great. Okay. Where's the art? Where's the music, the sound, the dancing, the food, the drink, the social circles, the politics? Where is this? Give us something aside from Mexican guy, black woman,
Asian man.
Yeah, give us something aside from a mix of races. It's like, okay.
Yeah, one of the things I was going to bring up was because I played through Deserts of Karak. I think I'm on my second playthrough, right? And they had that. They have the big aircraft carriers that go along the sand. I'm not sure if you played it.
I have not.
Okay, basically, because the Karak is basically just a huge desert. The only way they can get around is by having these big, gigantic machines that can actually survive these huge deserts. I was like, in Anthem, why don't they have their cities actually located on these mobile fortresses? Basically, like that's the only way to survive the world is to keep moving, because if not, then the actual plants will just overgrow them that quickly. So the only way to get around is to move.
Isn't that the premise of a movie that just came out?
Yes, it's Peter Jackson's movie. I was just like, oh, god damn it, he's stolen my idea, he's probably going to butcher it. But anyway, but either way, they could have done that whole excursion kind of thing. Like, that city back there is under massive economic strain in terms of its resources, and then they're kind of doing like these long-range expeditions to try and find resources to try and get them back. That'd be interesting. That'd actually have some tension behind it, and why you're actually kind of a necessary lifeline to these people.
That would be great. You could say, hey, you know what? I'm a freelancer, but I'm also helping the people out by doing my job. So it's kind of like how you get a lot of stories. I'm going to be an adventurer. I'm going to be a knight when I grow up. And I want to protect the people. I want to serve the justice. I want to get my fortune. I want to slay the dragon. It's like that sort of mentality. In this case, there's no great... it's like, hey, I'm here for the money. It's like, oh,
yeah,
okay.
It's like Geralt of Rivia. You can understand him because he's a witcher, so he's going to do witchery things as he's doing the main plot. It's like that's his trade. But this is just like, what is your trade as a freelancer? It's like, shoot things. Okay, anyone can do that.
Yeah, just go out there and do the thing I want you to do. Collect 10 vials of monster blood. You're like, what? How do I do? Okay.
Go knee deep into the pool. We need to get a pool sample.
Yeah, it's like, okay. Like it's just generic. There's no character. There's no culture. We don't get the culture of this city. We don't understand the history. Even though we were shown a flashback, we still don't understand what's going on. And when you do that and you put all that time and resources into a cutscene, a pre-rendered cutscene, you're like, ugh. There's no substance here. There's no meaning behind it. So nothing is looking good on the storytelling side of things. And that's sad from Bioware.
Yeah, because like I say, when I brought up, the reason I brought up Deserts of Karak there is because it's got that very Arabian feel to it. Even the music's got that Arabian, like everyone looks like how you would act. Like everyone's got like, because the desert's that hot
Right.
that everyone has like have these rebreathers because they're basically cooling systems, and the deserts have the deserts. The vehicles have to be that large to have all the cooling systems in place because that's the only way to survive in that environment. And this, it's just like not even your mech's even that big. It's just kind of slightly bigger.
I'd like to know where they get the water. I know we see water on the screen and there's lakes and whatever. Is that why you set up your town? There's an underwater supply. Is it like a lake? Is there a mountain? Like where's that work? I want to like just basic stuff, basic Sim City stuff, right? You have your water supply, and then you have your roads, like all that's. I don't know if there's any roads at all. Are there other cities? Yeah. There's apparently a massive number of amounts of paints and decals and materials. They have all these resources to deck out your mech.
Oh my god, I think I've clocked it. I think this is the B-Arc crash landing from Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Oh, you're
yeah. It's all full of like, the painters, the telephone cleaners. It's like, that's why there's loads of cosmetics everywhere.
Well,
it's just the art team's crash landed on an alien world.
The one thing I'm trying to give this props to is one of my favorite science fiction novels, which is Roadside Picnic. And the whole concept behind Roadside Picnic is aliens came to Earth and they instantly left. So we don't know what they looked like or what they did, but they left all their garbage behind. And all their garbage was so foreign and so bizarre that it was changing how we understand science and the universe as a whole. So my understanding of Anthem, just using that as an example, is people are still hanging around this dangerous world because there's all these artifacts in the world that change their understanding of science and nature. So they want to be there as this sort of crazy group of people who learn about the world through these discoveries. And I thought, okay, that's probably one of the faction's mentalities. But it wouldn't be everyone's mentality. It wouldn't be every group out there. So that's how I hope to see it. But again, I don't know anything. So I'm still waiting for like the scientists or the the group who want to go out, who want to do all the dangerous jobs, get all the scary tech and experiment on it. That's what I'm hoping to see. And I think we sort of saw that with the gentleman who cloned himself accidentally or
Yes.
split himself. So hopefully we'll get something along those lines that at least I can wrap my head around to say, all right, I see what you're doing there, Bioware. You're getting these people together. They want to learn about the universe and what happened to them. Great.
Disrupt the process before the Titan wakes. Destroy those machines. That thing is awake. You have to stop it at all costs.
Again, why? This guy in this line, please do this thing for us. It's like, why? Please, you have to. It's like, we don't care. Just tell us why.
Is it going to attack the city? Is it going to go kaiju on us? What is it about?
Yeah, just tell us why. That's all we need.
You fought very well. I'm impressed.
Stronghold's
Yeah, instant gratification. As soon
You
as
fought it well.
the first missile hits it, you fought very well. I am impressed. It's like, oh.
Where is he? Is he watching? Is he like on a mountainside with some popcorn and a telescope? How does he know? How does he know what we're seeing?
I can see you. I'm watching you. It's like, whoa.
Okay, creepy much.
Yeah, there's got to be some like how we have the unknown explanation of how Shepard has a phone call from Joker, and he just sort of puts his hand to his ear, two fingers up in the air, and he's like, okay, he's getting a call from Joker. It's like, well, we don't know how telecommunications work under those conditions, but we assume what's going on. We know, all right, yeah, he's got something in his ear, and it's not actually in his fingers. It's maybe part of his suit. It's maybe part of his helmet, whatever. It's not a big deal. We get it.
He puts it in his index finger. He has to, like, with
Oh,
his
yeah.
other hand, has to hold his tongue out like, okay.
He does the phone call symbol with his pinky and his thumb.
Yeah.
And he literally puts his thumb in his.
Technology, it's great.
Yeah, like we get that. We could wrap our brain around that. We don't need to have a whole backstory on telecommunications. Same way with the what is it called? The Omni tool. It's like a smartphone that's haptic, holograms, computer, does everything. Great, we got it. Omni tool, perfect description. Here, are they using our camera? Is there a camera? Are we broadcasting? How are we broadcasting? Is there like a satellite? Do they use satellites? Do they have rockets? Have they shot things up into the sky? Is Fort Tarsis on the biggest mountain and has the hugest radio transceiver? Are we using quantum mechanics? Are we using qubits? Are we using quantum machines, computers? Quantum entanglement, like anything. Give us something to understand how this is going on, and then we go, oh. And again, I'm not asking for everything. I'm just asking for like a certain level of technology. Like if say they've mastered fusion, okay? Big deal. We're trying to figure that out ourselves. If they can do that, they can probably do a lot of other things, like quantum computers. It's not too far removed. So we need that sort of little bit of lore. A little bit of lore goes a long way. So flying mechs, okay. Anti-gravity maybe, jets to propel you. Okay, fine, we get it. Yeah, all right, fine. We'll go with that.
It's like they were kind of leaning toward, like, I remember a while ago someone said in the chat of javelins are passed down. I'm like, okay, is this like ancient technology that
Right.
no one knows how to build? I was like, that'd be interesting. Like, you're actually sorry if I'm repeating myself here, but that would be interesting in terms of you see like these derelict things and you're like, okay, there's technology in there. We don't know how to replicate it. That's why we're going out there to go get it, because we're the only ones capable of getting it.
And the neat thing about, well, not the neat thing, but the one thing I noticed about the Anthem gameplay is that there's the generic ammo pickups.
Yeah.
So doesn't matter what gun you have, just like in Mass Effect 2, every gun takes this universal ammo. So
Everybody laughed at Deus Ex 2 for that. Isn't the universal ammo so bad? And yet Mass Effect 2 comes out and everyone's praising it. It's like, bore off.
But it's not ammo, it's heat sinks.
But your guns are goddamn TARDIS. Like, dude, have you seen the size of those things when you're like ejecting them out? It's like, good lord, like the larger than the width of the gun itself.
It's like a coil gun had the coil. And it's like, oh, we got to eject the whole coil out of the barrel. They're like, whoa. What the hell is wrong with your guns? How hot do these things get that you had to create inferior heat sinks?
Yeah,
compared to what you had previously.
Yeah, for the record, when you're ejecting something that's incredibly hot, that means that you have to be wary of if there's anyone to your left or to your right, because you don't want to be like, right, I'm reloading, ting, and then Garrus gets like a
So
fire.
Yeah, you see that nonchalant ejection by Zaid in his loyalty mission, but that's really tiny compared to the actual in-game animation of you ejecting your heatsink from your predator or whatever. It's just like, whoa, that doesn't look right. So, yeah, consistency. Yeah.
They kept on changing the reload. Like in Mass Effect 2, your guy looks like he's pulling the slide back as if you would do to load a pistol.
Right.
Whereas in Mass Effect 3, just like the underslap, like as if you were putting in a magazine to a regular weapon. And just like, have they redesigned the entire weapons in 6 months while I was away?
Just tap it. Just tap it.
It's like, why not just have a button on the side of the gun that ejects it rather than me having to basically whack it like it's Latina's bottom, Sorry.
Okay.
Present some of the highest level challenges in the game and will require a team to take them on. These typically are longer challenges that will test all that you have learned as a freelancer. Whether or not your javelins can...
Actually, it was on the demo.
Yes, it was. Yes, this boss battle.
And it was quite hilariously funny because I just was running away from it most of the time and picking off of it. It was really funny because the only way to describe these kind of boss fights is play together, fight. That's the only way to describe it because everyone's just doing their own thing. There's no really kind of cohesion or form of working together. You know, it's just make health bar go away, please, and that's it.
Withstand the deadliest enemies in the world. Plan well, communicate with your team, and you will benefit from some of the most rewarding loot Anthem has to offer. Anthem is a living, changing world with threats arising from mysterious and dangerous places all the time. New missions, characters, and stories will be...
Which characters and stories? Please tell us. We have the black woman, we have Hispanic man, and was it Mediterranean man who duplicates himself? Bartender guy, evil guy in mech suit, dead doctor guy, guy from pre-rendered video that no longer exists.
Really, he's tired face guy.
Tired face guy. You know what? His animation was good for pre-rendered. That's pretty good. Put a lot of effort into that pre-rendered eyebrow, bro.
Yeah, I'm gonna jump the gun. I actually reckon that reveal demo wasn't actually for our benefit. I reckon it was because Bioware missed a couple of milestones in their production, and they were like, right, EA was like, right, you have to show something to our investors, get something done. They were like, oh, okay, do that, and that's why it feels so artificial.
And we'll see that in the next video. We'll compare the two, the pre-rendered as well as the current demo, just to see how far the downgrade went.
Toot toot.
Be introduced in the weeks and months to come.
Sarah Ryder, wearing a weird-looking outfit from some sort of medieval time period. I hope this is like a political thing. Like it's like we have to. Each mission is like you get points for that faction, and they like you better. Like I hope.
I think that's how they're working.
They should. Yeah, it makes sense.
I'm not sure if it's going to be exclusionary though. I'm not sure. I think they may have said it might have been like if you go for one faction too much, then it might bar the other one. Bioware's always very hesitant of making sure that everyone can play all the content. So
I know, but they really should have missions where it's sort of not always positive or negative. It's kind of like you get some positive and some negative or neutral like that. I'd like to see some variation in their faction choices.
Choices in their game design in Bioware? You madman!
All this is +1 or -1, and then variations between that. That's it. That's not hard to do.
We're just gonna get EMS.
It's like, oh my god. I kind of sort of
mechanical strength.
You weren't completely happy with that solution. Oh, I'll give you a 0.6 plus to Dominion faction loyalty or whatever. Like,
yeah,
okay.
like as soon as you complete a mission, like they hold up a card like it is a gymnast score. Like you
I give that
quite
a
adequately.
6. We don't like you that much, but you got what we wanted, so that's okay.
Either be a single scout or the beginning of something much, much bigger.
Some of these changes will be small.
This opulent place. Holy crap. Those aren't mechs. Those are statues. Those are huge. What's going on here? Like, are we well-to-do? Like, what is...
Who made that? Like, that was some serious
architecture. Like, yeah, it's engineering. It's like, geez. Where's the economy coming from? It must be from the freelancers, I'm guessing, because we're the ones who get all the stuff.
They're just constantly reloading levels and farming them, and it's like, hey, we got all this minerals now.
Here's some elf fruit. We'll make a new farm for you out back.
Yeah, they're actually aware of the regenerative properties of the world. It's like, yeah, we just don't care anymore now. It's just that.
This elf fruit grows really quickly. You could build your own, but no, I'll just keep getting it for you. Okay.
It doesn't regenerate. You have to walk in and out of the door again. That's all. It's like, oh, man.
Yeah, Yeah, the bears that keep attacking. It's like, I remember that promise from Inquisition. We have real bears, and the more you fight them, the less there are. Like, sure,
yeah.
right, sure.
Sure, Mike. Sure, mate.
Others will enrich the social experience with guilds and social hubs, while
And dancing like idiots. I can't wait.
others
Ugh.
will be massive and world-changing events. Everything you will have done in the game is preparing you for what is about to come.
Dragon Age Inquisition 2? What the hell is this?
You have a hole in the sky for a threat that's coming from the ground.
Oh no, the fade has broken again.
The cenotaph is broken.
Wait, guys, that's the wrong game. Use a different word. Oh, cenotaph is broken again. The demons, I mean the enemies, are pouring out of the sky. We need to create we need to create a faction to stop this great evil of our time.
We need a group of free people to lance the sky. Freelancers, brilliant! You've got it.
Throw in some Judeo-Christian imagery. Everyone will love us. We're so creative.
We are so smart.
Yes, it's. What was the color of the breach? Green? This is red. So obviously they're going through the color spectrum again. I'm guessing
the one in Mass Effect was blue, though. So.
Yeah, no, yeah, they're going to do blue next. They have to go clockwise. So there's only 3 options. I mean, they're going to hit the other one eventually. So
They couldn't have gone like purple or mauve or yellow. I don't know. Like there's more colors in the spectrum than.
They're going to get really creative, and they're going to jump to the secondary color. So it's primary and secondary. It's like, whoa.
Our most ambitious and challenging content will come to Anthem in the form of cataclysms.
Okay, if you want to compare the downgrade from the Storm to this, yeah, it's not quite the same.
Form of cataclysms. Time-limited world events that cause physical manifestations to occur. Extreme weather, incursions of dangerous hostile enemies, and new mysteries to solve. The story of Anthem has just begun.
New mysteries to solve by the barrel of a gun. I'm guessing. Just, looter shooter. It's like, oh, what's that? Amazing magical artifact that bends time-space in a bizarre way. You know what you do? You shoot it.
Yeah, you can remember how like Indiana Jones solved the Holy Grail. He got a big 80mm cannon and shot it. It was like, I've got it now. Remember that? It was fantastic. It's in the director's cut. You probably missed it.
Right. Take that, Jesus.
Yeah.
What might have seemed impossible when you were a fresh recruit will challenge you to new heights as you build your arsenal of javelins and unleash your power.
Strong alone, stronger together, right?
Ah, who told you that?
But stronger alone, stronger together. What?
Let me write that down.
We got another catchphrase.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was like that for my demo as well, so yeah. To be fair, it looks alright, but it's just when you're doing this thing of especially when Bioware went on record of saying we won't downgrade from the E3 demo.
Yeah, that lighting is beautiful. It's gorgeous. The particle effects. I mean, this is not bad, but big change.
Well, the other thing as well is just that on the pre-rendered one there,
In the world of Anthem,
the character's
you and your
head's
friends
bobbing
are
a little bit. In the game
The
one,
heroes who leave the safety
you're
of
on
the
like a
walls of
so
Fort
it's
Tarsus
completely different.
to explore the unknown
That's why
and
I say
protect
it's fake,
Like, look at the color palette. It's just bland in comparison. It's all just bright and dark. There's all the reds, the blues, the oranges,
you and your friends are freelancers.
the whites. It's all just pops.
To explore the unknown and protect.
Yeah, look at the mechanics like actually working. Like you got the female mechanic there. She looks awesome. It's like that's what you want is your mechanic actually working on your suit there, rather than static McGee there.
Again, it doesn't look bad. It just doesn't look as good.
Just about ready.
What are you going to use today?
I decided to go with the Colossus.
I'm going to use my Ranger.
Oh, it's the same animation cycle.
Right.
Although you do actually have a loading animation where you see your character's face only briefly. But only happens on the Ranger, and your character's got the most dulled expression. It's like, it's like really wide-eyed. It's really funny.
Yeah, the walk cycle isn't as attractive, but it's still pretty good. As you see here.
Yeah.
Every player will own an array of exosuits we call javelins.
That one looks like regular walking, whereas the other one is more aware of their legs, really, aren't they?
Yeah, their posture is taller as well.
Yeah. This one looks like yeah, the camera angle's obstructing the the extra springs there and the legs there, but it looks like the walking animation isn't aware of.
Yeah, it's a bit pushed forward. It's a bit smaller, I guess. Hard to.
These suits give players superhuman capabilities.
More fluid on the right, but it feels like on the left you're a bit more robotic, you're a bit stronger, you're a bit more weight.
I'll follow.
Like, it's really hard to see with the Z distance or the Z buffer. Draw distance. Like, that still looks amazing.
Yeah, it's just unfortunately the looter shooter mentality is really contradictory to this huge environment because you're going to be ignoring most of it because you're going to be like get the loot, get the loot, get the loot, get the loot. You're not going to take it all in. So all the effort is just for nothing, really. These large worlds are.
And because of the shaders, you can see the distance a lot further, so it's not as mysterious. Like here, I can't really tell what's in the distance because it's so foggy and dark. Whereas in 2019, it's just, you could see further away. And that's good, if obviously if you're shooting, you need to aim. Yeah, it's definitely the lighting effects. You can just tell the major difference.
You explore with your friends. Each Javelin exosuit has its own unique playstyle. The Ranger is balanced and all-purpose, while the Colossus is a tanking powerhouse.
Alright, let's see what's up here.
Fake gamer talk.
Oh god, yeah.
Hey, Jim, do you want to go get some XP? Yes, Bob, I like XP. XP is good for my tummy.
Here's where they upstaged Mass Effect Andromeda.
Yeah, right.
Wow, you could turn your jets on while you run? That's awesome.
Don't need shuttlecraft if you are the shuttle.
The Ranger is balanced and all-purpose, while the Colossus is a tanking powerhouse.
Alright, let's see what's up here.
By the way, for the record, you can't sprint with your weapon out. Your character always puts it away. So it can get a bit annoying when you're in the middle of a firefight and your guy's pulling his weapon in and out. He doesn't like hold it up or anything like that.
Well, this is really cool, but watch what happens. Right there.
Yeah, the round's coming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not only is that... Yeah. That doesn't happen.
Never happens.
No, it doesn't happen. But if you know anything about ballistics, bullets just disintegrate as soon as they hit something, including water. So
the underwater mechanics as well are like when I tried them, it went from this is all right to oh dear God, why has God forsaken me because I couldn't control. I'm on mouse and keyboard, so it's probably more designed for a controller. To be fair to the control scheme.
This looks pretty boring, honestly. This guy comes
the
out of
way,
nowhere. Where did he come from?
By the way, you melee, because this game is very not melee, sorry, ability focused. Like your primary damage comes from your abilities, so your guns are just something to do in the meantime, like just to do extra damage, pretty much. But your melee attack is also on a cooldown as well.
Why?
I don't know why. Like it's not like it's a power attack or anything like that. You know, it takes like a charge off, like Mass Effect. It's like you have to wait like about 1.5 seconds or something for it. You know, like you can use your hands like your goddamn mech beating the snot out of someone. You know.
If you could run without any use of energy, you should be able to punch the same amount of activity time it takes to run.
That's it, freelancer. You got him.
See what I mean? Like, you can't melee again. You have to wait for the time thing to go over. You can't just kind of go whack, bang, 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 bang.
Good. We're pushing them back.
Let's finish this.
Yes, such emotion though in this combat.
Hang in there. Almost there.
It's nice though that water's really putting out that fire.
Yeah, right.
It cools down your engines, but not the fire. You know, it's like there's no stop, drop, and roll.
Yeah, there's no strafing, there's no kneeling, there's no...
Oh, gee, Bioware and crouching, man. They just don't like
yeah,
it.
it's like, get on the frickin' ground, be a smaller target. No, we're just stand, get shot at. I never liked that. You just auto-target, press a button, everyone dies.
Justice reigns from above much.
Yeah, just, come on.
That's me. You see, you picked up an item there, like you had no clue as to what the item was. You know it's a white one, so it's going to be something that you're just going to but you have no idea what it is. So it's like, congrats, loot.
See this? Facial animation. It's not great, but it's modeled well.
The animation's good as well, like he's moving, he's emoting.
Oh yeah, everything else, like, it's simple. The forehead's great, nose is good, mouth is good, cheeks are good, hair's plastic.
Oh, good God!
Yeah, her head is way too big, her neck is huge.
Put her back in, she ain't done yet.
Yeah, like just shrink the upper body.
You've got your sights set on the heart of rage. Not the first time for you either. All part of the adventure, right?
I don't care how attractive her face is or whatever. Just just give her some proportion.
I'm always
Makes
moving forward, but now
makes sense.
it's time to go back.
You give her some muscles or something. She's supposed to be a mechanic.
Yeah.
Like a tote or something.
Grind it up. See, he looks great.
What did you do?
He looks like he's like a salesman, maybe. Maybe a mechanic as well.
Yeah, like an infusion. What's really funny is that what was it, Anthem's lead animator left like how many months? Like might be showing.
Oh yeah, during the ending of Mass Effect Andromeda, they're like, okay, we gotta get more people on Anthem now.
I know, actually, he left. He was like working at Bioware for like 14 years or something like that, and he just up and left like last year.
Okay. It's called the Manifold. Well, technically, I call it.
Okay, so
And
yeah,
it does what, exactly?
facial animation's not as good, obviously.
Type of
Not bad.
super relic that was able to amplify and
Just,
augment
But
the
it's
qualities
it's
of
just
other
this kind of, but it's still,
one
it's like this is still Bioware stock, you know, like.
Thanks to the Elysian
It's not like, say, in Destiny where characters are in these full range of motion and things like that, where there's a lot of polish on the cutscenes and stuff. This is just traditional Bioware, we're locking you in a place and saying words at you kind of thing.
It was stupid.
I always look at the eyelids to see how they're emote. And
Yes.
the eyebrows. Just very emotional in that area. And the guy on the right is just sort of static. He's just sort of, he's not bad. He's just, Could just be the conversation he's having. Whereas this guy's like concerned. He's like, holy God, I screwed up. Help me out here.
Yeah, I remember when even Alistair he could like squint, he could, cock his eyebrow, do all sorts of things. That was Dragon Age. It just seems to be like they constantly have a problem of keeping the animations across Frostbite all the way through. You know.
Yeah, they gotta put some drama. They gotta give us some emotion. Like this guy's the worst.
Freelancer.
Nice to meet you.
Did you recognize my voice when I said freelancer?
Was I supposed to?
Where's this eye tracking going?
Yeah. He's not.
What's interesting over there? Like,
What was your character's name?
Sentinel 2.
I said that this reminds me of Vampire Bloodlines a bit.
Yeah,
because they're sort of robotic in there. But it feels like they're talking to you. In this one, they're just sort of like creepy for being creepy, as opposed to creepy for being a mutant or a vampire or something. Like he looks creepy.
Mistake.
Are you going to be like checking your drink because he's a bartender? You're going to be checking your drinks for a hypnol or something?
I don't know. Just he looks sketchy. He's like, ugh.
Maybe.
Unbelievable.
You're right. It was stupid. I'm sorry. But they're still out there.
Yeah, so that was.
So we renamed Warframes.
Oh, this is.
Right? You think
Oh
about
no.
Warframes. You rename them Jav. Javelins. Javelins. Yeah, javelins. Okay.
Okay, so we're gonna do tagline time. This is all part of the wonderful things that you may have not remembered, the actual taglines from advertisements and how people have said them over the years. So we're going to look at the first Mass Effect TV ad. I don't even remember what the tagline was for Mass Effect because it didn't need one. It was already day one purchase for me in my mind. Let's just see what it was from the original advertisement. And if anyone can remember it, go ahead and put it out in the comments or in the chat window there, because I'm curious as well.
Do you copy? We're under attack!
Incoming transmission from Novaria.
Normandy! Are you there? Repeat, requesting immediate aid! Please! Please!
Request denied. Setting new course for Caliston.
Many decisions lie ahead. None of them easy.
Rated M for mature.
That's it. That was it. Many decisions lie ahead. None of them easy.
You know what's really funny is that I know that didn't happen in Mass Effect, which is a bit of a shame, but it was his first title. You can understand the problems. But that is what Mass Effect 3 should have been about. You're hearing distress calls, and you have to pick and choose who lives and who dies on those colonies. Which colony is going to be sacrificed to the Reaper Advance, in other words, for you to regroup and rearm.
Right,
You know?
and we didn't know anything about the story. We just knew you were a spaceman, and you were in a spaceship, and people needed your help, and you were like, nope, I'm going to go over here instead. In my dune buggy. And you're like, whoa, hey, that's cool. That's it. I was like, we never seen that before. I'd like to see that. So when you try to do that with Mass Effect Andromeda, you got to give us something more. You got to say, okay, what, why, who, where, when. You got to like add to the repertoire that is Mass Effect. We expect, we know what to expect. We expect more out of it. And we're going to see how that goes. So I have a few lined up. We're going to do Mass Effect 2 next. See if you guys can guess that one.
Prepare for the awesome button.
I don't have patience for incompetence.
That
or
looks
recklessness.
really bad for
Or
CGI,
heroes.
you know?
This mission might seem insane, and the odds of survival might be low, but I will achieve success. Because of this crew, or in spite of it. I'll follow Shepard's orders. I'll follow him into battle. But he'll have to fight to earn my trust.
And there it is. Fight for the Lost. I'm sure most of you already knew that one. I mean, the question is, what was the Lost? We didn't know until we, played the game, like, oh, we're
The
losing.
lost plot, I think that's what it was.
Yeah, well, in my case, like, where? I don't think they had one in the first place.
There's a plot in here somewhere. We just got to dig deeper. It's a past the Mega 4 relay.
Yeah, so the whole idea was that they were lost humans we had zero connection to until, was it Joker? I can't even remember who it was that we cared about that we lost. I don't think it was Joker's sister, so.
No, Joker's sister was ME3. Did you hear about that colony getting destroyed?
Right. Yeah, so it's, trying to give us a tagline for a game that is the second in a series is kind of unnecessary. It's like, yeah, it's Frodo. He's going to go keep on his mission. He's going to go destroy the ring. It's like, yeah, it's Shepard. He's going to go stop the Reapers. So give us something along those lines of stopping the Reapers as opposed to having, well, in this case, Miranda, who's just hot space girl in boots, who's the loyalist.
And sales went through the roof.
Yeah, that's one way to sell. That's what they should. Yeah, they need more sex in their. Well, actually, Miranda's good in that sense. Is that she's not the most attractive looking woman, and as you can tell from the I always forget the name of the animation studio who does these things. But you can tell this is not typical Bioware quality, and
it's usually Blur Studios that they hire out to.
Yeah, I'm sure that looks like Blur to me.
It might be the internal team from EA actually. The Blur Studios one has a very distinctive look. I think with Miranda, she's genetically modified to be a very bland woman. Well, she's genetically perfect to be very boring.
Well, yeah, her teeth aren't perfect. Her eyes. Again, there's nothing unattractive about her in general. But if you're talking about actual beauty of portions and distances and the koinophilia aspect of her character, then no, she's not the every woman. She's not the supermodel. And we know she's based off Yvonne Strahovski. So, and of course they took her and they brunetted her up, and obviously the uncanny valley comes very close at times. So we can understand that. And when you see her in game, yeah, she's not exactly perfect, which is what I liked. Even though people consider her that, even though she thinks she's that, we can see and says, no, you're not. You're just like everyone else, even though you are obviously very gifted and very talented with all the right assets. So that is Fight for the Lost. Mass Effect 2, everyone pretty much knew that. Didn't really translate too well, except that one mission to get your team back who were captured. They weren't lost. So, kind of.
Fight for the Lost. They're over there. Oh, wait. Sorry, we found.
Fight for our captured crew. Fight for the tens of thousands of humans that have been liquefied. You get the idea. Yeah. All right, on to the next
It's
game.
It kind of belittles the overall thing of Mass Effect, doesn't it? The whole, only a couple of 100,000 colonists have died, but the Battle of the Citadel probably resulted in at least 1 million people dead. And that was just one battle. When you actually taken the size of the scope of it all, you had like the Citadel fleet, you had the Citadel Defense Forces, you had the Alliance fleet with their Marines as well on board, the amount of Geth and Sovereign, the amount of destruction across. It's like, then you also got, what was Mass Effect 2 solved by? 12 random jackoffs in a frigate,
And that's why the taglines for 2 as well as 3 are rather offensive to people who understand the scope of what the actual story is in the game. Since the first game, we all knew it. It just, the marketing team didn't know what they were doing. I don't think the writing team knew we know the writing team didn't know what they were doing. You guys just screwed it up, okay? And the reason why we're going through these taglines, just to be clear, is we want to see what marketing is doing, because I'm quite sure all the taglines we've got have zero to do with the actual story. They were trying to summarize what this all meant. And it's dumb. If this had meaning, if fighting for the Lost meant something on multiple layers and levels, then we'd be like, Oh, I get. It could be a subtitle. That's how good it is, but it's not for a reason, because there's nothing there. Mass Effect 2 has got to catch them all. Tim said so. Fight some bad guys.
It reminds me of Abe's Odyssey. You know, hello, all of you, follow me. Okay, that's your recruiting mission, loyalty mission. I'm sorry. Right, off we go, lads. And
that's it. Shepard's an amazing leader. We go with him. It's like, no, he's not. He's really not. He just went places and said, I'll do this thing for you. Come with me on a suicide mission. And for some reason they came. That's all.
Yeah, I remember the Fane one actually stuck out to me. It's like, going for there would be go for the big four relay. It's like, yeah, I'm trying to convince you. I'm going to go. Wow, that was easy.
Okay, with Fane, it made sense. He was going to die anyway. We got that. With Samara, it made sense. She would do anything to, if she was very serious about her oaths and whatever, made perfect sense. Jack, not so much. Jack was like, oh, you want to get me off this crazy place on a Cerberus ship? Great. I'm going to kill all of you as soon as I'm out of here. Like that would she logically should have done, or eventually would have done. Miranda, yeah, okay, loyalist, fine, I'll go with that.
It's really funny actually, because Miranda's things like, he has to earn my loyalty, but yet the opening of Mass Effect 2, she's like, I'll follow Shepard, he's a bloody icon. He's like,
well, the funny thing is, Miranda and Jacob are like, Jacob's so friendly. It's like, oh my God, you're alive. Holy crap. What are you doing? And he's like totally behind you. We got to help you out. And Miranda on the space station, she's like, no, you just listen to me. You guys are idiots. Da, da, da. And then when we get to the ship, she's like, okay, yeah, we gotta do this. And Jacob's the exact opposite personality. He's just like, this is all bull, Shepard. I'm like, okay, dude, what happened? I thought you were my bro. Yeah, so they didn't quite figure out her character past the 1 hour demo part, first hour of the game. Anyway, we can keep going on about 2 for hours and hours, and I have. So we're gonna go to 3. See how much we love these taglines. Oh, we're gonna watch 3 minutes of this. Oh,
no, we can always just skip to the end because
there we go.
I mean, to be fair, the actual bit itself, the bit where you see all the Reapers like coming down and all that bit, that's actually beautifully done, because it shows you the horror of what the Reapers are doing, and I think that's fantastic. But the game doesn't realize that. It's like other people know what Mass Effect's about. There's the Hammerhead. It's right there. It's available. There's plenty of them.
Yeah, I mean, this is the dumbest reason to make CGI for Mass Effect 3. It just shows Shepard and Ashley beating a bunch of zombies up. It's like, thanks. This is not what Mass Effect is, people.
Well, Shepard's actually like, he picks up that thing and kind of goes, oh, that's good for the collection.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I was looking for that. They didn't sell this at the store.
It's like, you've still got the child's hand stuck to it. He's like trying to shake it off.
It's like, I'll clean that off later. I'll put some new paint on it. You see,
like,
that would have been good if it was part of his character to collect miniatures. And he would just be collecting, like, everything, like mechs and dolls and, you know, cute little things. It'd be like, Shepard, are you like a huge geek? It's like, what are you?
He's got a collection of Warhammer 40k miniatures in his captain's cabin.
Yeah, there was really no explanation why that was a thing to do in Mass Effect 3. You had just ships. Did he like ships? We don't know. Like, why would you do that?
That could be an interesting thing if, let's say, you didn't romance anyone, so Shepard just turns inward and starts collecting things.
He just starts playing weird games in his cabin. He's nothing better to do. We'll get a gerbil. Why not? I don't know.
It's gerbil. Okay, that's a good bit, I will admit. Where you see all the army, it's like, okay, that's pretty cool. But it's like none of that happens in the game whatsoever.
Yeah, if that was the run to the beam or the lead up to the beam, that'd be like, oh, he's in charge of the ground team. Everyone's following him. Okay, you know what? Shepard has carte blanche. Just do whatever he's doing. Follow his lead. I'm like, oh, yeah, he's the guy. I mean, obviously he's not the guy, but anyone could stop a Reaper once you tell them how. But just follow the guy in the lead. All right, fine. They could set it up that way. The story could set it up that way so that Shepard was the only guy and he is the leader, blah, blah, blah. And they didn't. So, yeah. Anyway, taglines. Where is it? Yeah, that nice left-hand swipe with the Omni Blade. Yeah, doesn't happen in the game. Just so you know. Another bane of pre-rendered videos.
He's also holding a rifle single-handedly.
And shooting it to the right without aiming. Yeah. With no kickback. It's just, I'll just use my hand to catch the kickback on this monstrously powerful single-action gun.
You know, did you ever play through the Return to Ostergard DLC for Origin?
I think I did, so...
Right. This Take Back Earth would have been a perfect DLC for Mass Effect 3 if they would have followed a logical... Like, the main battle should have been at the Citadel, and then Take Back Earth should have been a DLC where, like, you know, the continuation of the story of, like, they're basically reclaiming the worlds that are still under Reaper attack.
Oh, really?
Like, yeah, imagine, let's say they've taken out the bulk of the Reaper fleet, but the Reapers are still out there causing havoc, you know, and they're going, yeah, you can free Fessia, you can free Palaven, you can free Earth, all the major homeworlds. And that'd be an interesting DLCs.
And you see all the charred remains of people you have to bury.
Yeah. They're like, oh, we waited too long to actually retake Earth, or, you know, some kind of emotional weight behind it, like, oops, you know. Like, yeah, you could have actually done that. Like, I know it's kind of joking here a little bit. That'd be interesting. Like, which planet do you want to save first, and each one have like a repercussion to it. Let's say if you save Earth first, there'll be like more people there. But obviously, if Fessia's last, Fessia is just like charred remains.
Oh, like the way that Liara was stuck in the prison, she gets a little crazy if you see her last. In that case, the whole planet's busted up. Oh shit! Oops. Sorry, Thessia, I didn't mean to kill all those beautiful blue women out there. I just like the Quarians a bit more. Sorry. I mean, I was promising someone a homeworld, so okay, we're gonna do this.
Yeah, I just love the idea of Reapers are invading. I know, let's go and attack someone else while we're at it. Like, brilliant. That's like aliens are invading Earth, and China kind of goes, you know what? Taiwan's looking really tasty right now. Let's go and take it.
All right, so let's do the next game, which I'm sure everyone can't wait to see the trailer for. It's not the official trailer, but it's the only way I could find a tagline that made sense. Let's get to that next. Da-dee-da-dee-da. Here we go. We don't have to watch the whole thing. I don't want to watch the whole thing.
In a dangerous alien galaxy desperate for resources, conflict.
Yes. Our favorite Mass Effect voice. Yeah, watch the next buff or technique in Anthem be a portable magical shield. It's a literal shield in front of you. Where'd they get that idea?
Though you start out with
I can't remember who did the music, but this is not Bioware's music. It's just an unreleased. I think it's like, you know, people like, you know, Two Steps from Hell, Audio Machine, people like Bioware just basically contacted them because the music here is actually really good. I'll give it props to that, but it's not made by Bioware.
No. They do like their marketing team at least knows where to get the musicians. That's true. So
well, like I say, but this is actually a pre-stocked trailer music.
Right.
That they literally just have a library. So
yeah, so it's again finding a musician is a dime a dozen, but finding the good ones, yeah, obviously you have to pay money for that. So marketing would be in charge. Yeah. And yeah, it's exciting. Look at this. Ooh. Goodbye. Ah, fire. Dovahkiin, here we go. Vermeer.
A new galaxy awaits. How
You
far
don't
will
even
you go?
you don't even fight for a new home. You just kind of crash land on it.
Yeah, so it's kind of like we know we're going there to get a new home because the whole point is to make a settlement, but why we're fighting for it, stupid reasons. And then whatever he just said, how far will you go? Well, how far will you take me there? I mean, you're the writer. What can I do in this game, buddy? Like, you tell me. So maybe it's a completionist thing. It's like, how much do you want? You want to do everything in the game? You want to explore everywhere? It's like, yeah, we want 100%. Yeah, that's true. So, yeah, a marketing thing. It is true. You are fighting for a new home, but it's not a literal interpretation. You're not actually, here's my plot of land, here's my planet, I'm fighting just for that. It's sort of you're unraveling a mystery as opposed to setting up shop. Because you do set up shop, and it's like, we have a military base. We're done. Finished. We're not fighting over there. Let them do their own thing. We got other things to do. So, yeah. How far will you go? That implies there is a range of things to do, and it's up to you to figure out how much you can do. Whether you have the staying power, whether you have... Don't put the blame on me. Yeah, that's the tagline. That's a good one. Don't put the blame on me. Yeah, I like that one too. Okay. That's pretty accurate too. Yeah, so I would say EA. Because everyone blames EA, and for good reason in certain cases, but not in BioWare's case. And we know that. We could blame them for maybe putting the deadline too soon, maybe. Yeah, that's possible.
They had 5 years.
That's true too. So,
and they actually got they actually pushed back Andromeda because it's supposed to release in November. They pushed it back to March, and they even went and said, hey, we're more than willing to give them an extra couple of months to polish up the game. And Bio went, no fam, we're fine.
Yeah.
So, it's like BioWare just sent this out to die.
So here we have, let's just compare the four. So we have really no tagline aside from that one advertisement, that one video that not too many people saw. I think it was maybe after they put it on TV once or twice during a football game, I think. It's only like a 30, 40-second clip. And people who saw that went, wow, I got to get an Xbox so I can play this game. But that's the promise. Many decisions lie ahead, none of them easy. You know what? I think that's kind of accurate. I mean, they weren't hard. In that sense, you either choose one or the other. But some choices, you have to sit and go, wait a second, am I going to kill an entire species? Am I going to kill an entire, like, one of my buddies? Like, that's a big choice. Those are big ideas. So I would say that's fairly accurate and fairly reminiscent of what you do in the game. Fighting for the Lost, as much as people love Mass Effect 2, you ain't fighting for anyone lost. They're gone. They're liquid. You blow them up.
It's not even like even put a memorial of the dead in the collector base or anything like that.
Yeah, you nuke the crap out of that thing in big blue or big red fireball thing.
There's not even any kind of like people kind of going, where's my son, where's my daughter, where's my mother, or anything like that. It's just, I just completely annihilated that thing right there.
We don't know who they are, but they're gone now. Sorry. So not great, not fantastic, not a subtitle worthy. It's not really accurate. Nor is this. You wouldn't make this a subtitle. It's a sentence, but it's you got what that meant. Now, in this case, this is accurate as it's an actual plot point, but it misses the entire scope of the game. Like, this is just off. This is a gameplay component, and the effect is memorable because it is a form of conflict for the player as well as to the actors on the screen. But this is like, you're missing the point of this trilogy, buddy. You're not taking Earth back. You're lucky that anyone's going to be alive left to survive.
You know what's really funny is like, you know the opening bit where you meet the two downed pilots. Do you remember that bit?
Which ones?
In the opening of Mass Effect 3, after the big beam comes down and you're basically running along trying to get to Normandy, you meet those two pilots. One of them's wounded. And well, basically, you know, you kind of say to them, right, we're going to get you out. Then Shepard goes on board the Normandy and buggers off. Can you imagine that? Like, imagine being told, right, don't worry, buddy, you're wounded. We're going to medevac you out. Then Anderson comes back and goes, right, we're going to fight them. It's like, you asshole! You told me there's an evac right there. You can get me out of here. You know, you just got to go, right, buckle up, buddy.
Oh yes, take care, son. We'll take care of you. Yeah, I remember that. Okay, he's Anderson's
like, we're going to put you on a stretcher in towards the Reaper fight. You know,
it's like no. We need bodies on the ground. Come on, yeah, stay with us. What? No.
Do the Reapers have like a counting system? Like, you know, these are like the kill bots from Futurama. Send wave after wave of your own men until they can't count no more.
So this is the discrepancy as you go further and further away from a consistent narrative in Mass Effect 1. The marketing gets worse and worse. So yeah, you are fighting for the lost, but not in any direct plot related way. It's always like, yeah, we're here to stop. It's like the premise. Like, this is the premise of the story. In 3, this is one plot point, and it's right kind of sort of at the end, which doesn't even it's not even a goal. You're not trying to take Earth back, you're trying to save the galaxy. And why they showed London and the moon and all that other crap is like, this is stupid. Fight for a new home, yes, this is the premise, but you know, everything's going to be a struggle, so that's assumed. How far will you go? Thank you, Mac. That's bullshit. Don't put the blame on me is hilarious. Like, this is a joke. Everything here is a joke. So it just keeps getting worse and worse as we progress. You could argue some parts of 3 were great storytelling-wise. Sure, there were consistent points for sure. Your choices did matter in some cases, but it all fell apart. Now, I don't mean to say this is how Bioware is going to keep going, if they're going to keep being around. But for Andromeda, unleashing your power means goddamn nothing. This is... I don't even know what this means. When there's 2 of us, we do more damage to the bullet sponge. Yeah, true. Doesn't really tell me anything about your game or story, aside from being boring. So this is how things have turned out so far. Now let's actually do some bonus ones if you guys can remember. I think most people can get this. This is pretty clear. They did a lot of marketing for Dragon Age Origins. Can anyone from chat remember what was the tagline from Dragon Age Origins? I believe it came from Duncan, if in case anyone's confused.
I think it was actually said earlier in the chat. I think
someone. Yeah, if you scroll up, someone did say it. I didn't want to.
Yeah, they're probably going. Why is he asking us again?
just to see, because Dragon Age Origins is one of those games. Like, yeah, this is a really good game. It's very memorable, and I don't know if everyone remembers what the premise of that game was. Yes, you were a Grey Warden. Yes, you started off from an origin story, but I don't think anyone really remembers the story. Or the tagline, the marketing pitch. Because when we saw that Bioware was doing a Baldur's Gate inspired game, we're like, oh yeah, I want that. Whatever, I'll try that. We didn't need the marketing videos. But in case nobody remembers, it's 2 words. That's it. That was the punchline, the tagline at the end of every video they did, or not every video, most videos, for Origins, just to get them. Duncan would say, join it. But not only that, this was a prayer that Alistair said during the joining ritual. So it's part of the story. And to take a part of the story, which is already this ritualistic behavior, which had deadly repercussions, shows us it is this dark fantasy. So it resonates the theme. It has a layer of storytelling in there. It's a very brutal scene because a lot of people died, just drinking blood, and it's pretty creepy. It works. It works with the idea of, hey, buy the game, join us on this quest, become a Grey Warden. You could be your own Grey Warden. You could design them any way you like. You could choose your class, choose your origin. That's a lot of RPG customization right there. That works. That's one very good one, I thought, for a good story. So we had the story aspect, it has multiple layers, and we had the marketing aspect that had all kinds of marketing, and all the marketing worked. I wasn't say it was great. It looked great. The was it Blur Studios who did the Dragon Age Origins ones?
I think they did
two
Ashes.
or three.
I think they did Sacred Ashes.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah, because there was quite a lot. Yeah, there was the first one where it was like a very short one. Then they did the Warden's Call, which I think was Blur Studios, because that was very good, actually.
Yeah, with Morgan turning into a giant spider and fighting a dragon, and like that was just cool. So Dragon Age 2, not so heavy, clear on the plot. I wonder if you guys remember this one. I remember it because it was just so stupid, and it really didn't mean anything. And I was actually asking the question throughout my plot analysis, what is this thing marketing wants me to focus on, or the game wants me to focus on? Dungeon.exe? No, it's not. It's not the tagline. That would have been cute. Yeah, This Is War music video. That was also from Origins. Yeah, they went all out. They licensed music. They got a music video going. They did pre-rendered videos. Marketing for their games is pretty big. But if anyone doesn't remember, it's Rise to Power. Pimp My Hawk, close enough. That was it. It was this constant, like, what does it mean to have power? That was never really a theme. We were never questioning what it meant to be human. Where do you get your strength? This is not frickin' Blade Runner. You know, this is a guy escaping. Yeah, I would say that's probably the best one. There you go. Thank you, sir. Mr. Loa, or female Loa Dyron, whatever gender you are. There you go.
I'd call it the Alt F4.
Alt F4. It's for Isabel. Yeah, the problem with the Dragon Age 2 marketing, they showed Hawk as a mage melee defending against a Qunari crazy bullman. And it's like, okay, can you do that as a mage? Because if so, why would I be anything else? And this is all in a pre-rendered cutscene, of course. And then it shows the ending where he tears the guy's freaking arms off by summoning a demon out of the sides and just tearing his arms apart. I don't know how you do that, but it's just that never happens in the game, of course. I remember the footage of that in their pitch video. They actually have that cinematic done in 2D animation in frames, where they show Hawk just putting the blood on his nose and ripping some guy's arms apart, and he gets pissed off. And all through that, I'm going, why didn't they just do that in the first place? Why go through all these fight scenes and hitting him with your staff and spearing him and casting fire and lightning? It's like, no, just rip his arms off. Done. Someone's threatening the city. Tear his arms off. We're good.
When I said de-arm them, Hawk, I didn't mean...
Yes, that was Captain Janeway in the trailer, and she's rambling on about... I can't even remember what the hell she was talking about. It was so stupid.
She hit a blunt or something. It was like, right, so about Destiny, right?
Yeah, it was something about Destiny and doing bullshit and da-da-da-da. You're like, yeah, thanks.
I like the way they turned Thelma from basically being a doddering old woman to the Final Fantasy VIII boss. Okay. With the big hair antlers. Yeah, it's like good lord, the amount of moose that you would have to have used just to keep
8,
that up.
11, 12. Yeah, all the past 10, past 9, all the Final Fantasy bosses have a ridiculous hair. Yeah.
What's really funny is I remember the Inquisition's very first trailer, the very first teaser trailer, the one with Morrigan on it. A dragon shows up, and all the fanboys were like, "Oh my god, it's a dragon! It has to be Flameth!" It's like in a game called Dragon Age,
Yeah.
and you're looking at a dragon. You're telling me that there's that. Oh dear lord! Because like, what was Flemeth's like time in that? It was like what, 5 minutes? It's like you people made entire 20-minute videos as to why Flemeth's going to be this massive bad guy in Inquisition, like with what Sandor was saying, and it's like, no, lol, she's actually just a real good guy, or good gal, I should say. No, don't care. Poo on you. Oh, Kieran, you think Kieran's such a bad thing? Lol, no. There you go. Gone. Problem solved.
All your choices are made irreverent, really. Not even useless. They're just like, who cares?
I was honestly expecting you to actually be Morrigan's child. You know, like as to why he got all this power in the first place. I know that would mean that canon ending.
Yeah.
Because I know the Dark Heart is an optional thing, but because Bioware doesn't care about previous canon, so like they should just roll with that story, you know. But they should have kind of gone, you are the Morrigan's child, and you're in this one, you are Morrigan's child, and you've got the latent powers of a Tevinter god, and that would have been brilliant. Personally speaking, that's just me.
Right. It's hard to say. You know, and we come to Dragon Age Inquisition, and we like, okay, what the hell is this tagline about? I think someone might have mentioned it in the chat. I don't
Stop
even,
the hold.
I don't exactly remember myself because it was kind of it's just like
Restore order.
Restore. Yeah, no, that's my joke. I always make fun of how she pronounces words. It's not quite French. It's not quite Quebecois French. It's just like, what?
She's Belgian.
Is it save the world or lead it to ruin? I don't know. It's just
that's the teaser trailer.
Is it?
Never gets used again. Yeah.
There is no end state. There's no fail state. You always win.
That's always the thing with Bioware. So you're always going to defeat the main bad guy, no matter what. You are always going to defeat. Bioware's ending is in the reflection upon that, in terms of what happened to the world as you traveled through it. That's how Origins did it. That's how every other game did it before that, or most of them, I should say. You know, it's a simple thing. It's what Bioware does good at, but instead they just kind of go, no, we're not going to do that.
It's just like, I wish. They showed also again another pre-rendered cutscene with all the characters in one, and you play as the Inquisitor. Or they show the Inquisitor with the helmet. He has a flaming sword and he's fighting off stuff, and you're like, this looks really tacky.
Oh, I think their tagline is "Lead them or fall."
Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah, it's like,
I think that's their tagline.
And it's like, you will never fall or lose. You will always win. It's like, there's nothing. There's no challenge. Is there a challenge? I don't even think there's a challenge in the game except the dragons. And even then, I saw dragons get annihilated in seconds on like playing one versus like just Artificer. Just some crazy damage amplifier, just like 2 hits, the dragon's dead. Like, what?
I just keep on managing to find glitch spots and just go, no, not dealing with you, buckaroo, and just engage them at range.
Dodge the fire, keep hitting it with sticks from range.
That's all I did.
Oh, you're magical. Your magic never misses. Okay, keep doing that.
You use the same attack animations from Dragon Age 2. No one will ever notice.
So this is just to showcase how, as the story gets worse, from Mass Effect, from 1 to Andromeda, as the storytelling gets worse and the budgets get more bloated, all these taglines just keep getting dumber and stupider and more useless to what's going on in the story.
I just think he's just one guy in some shed, and they just hand him a note with a couple of pictures. He's just like, oh, come on. You want me to put a tagline to that?
So anyway, we're gonna read some websites here just because we can. This is the official EA. What is this? EA dot. If anyone wants the link, I'm gonna put it in chat if you really care to. But this is the actual page we're looking at, and it's just like there's the trailer that we linked to. Here's what really gets my goat, and I don't know why the story of Anthem has just begun. It's like, what does that mean? Its world will continue to evolve and challenge. Okay, fine. As develop your arsenal and javelins, unleash your power. Again, unleash your power. The tagline. Gameplay calendar. The ongoing narrative of Anthem begins. So here we have the launch, and then we have Act 1. So I'm assuming at launch it's just what? Nothing? There's no game? There's no story? You just get in your javelin and start shooting crap?
You are now legend. Buy more DLC.
Yeah, and then the next big update is going to be March some date, 2019. Act 1, Echoes of... and it just keeps going. And it's just going to be this ongoing thing. Now, this is not unheard of in the mobile game market, like, say, Final Fantasy Brave Exvius, just because I've played that game over the years. And they would release the main story over the years. And it just keeps going and going and going with no end in sight. Which, if that's the model they're going for, great. But you know what? Those stories suck. They're really bad. There's no goal. There's no... It's like, we want to defend the kingdom. Okay, what do? Well, you travel the world. Okay, where do you go? They invent new islands. They invent new continents. It's like, where are we? Now we're in the past. Now we're in a dream world. Now we're in a quasi-dimension. It's like, where? Why? Like, imagine if Star Trek The Next Generation just kept going. And I'm sure some of you would have liked that, but, you know, there would have been... It just keep exploring and exploring. It's like, oh, it's never going to end. It's going to keep going. It's just like, there's no... There is a plan, but that doesn't mean the plan is any good. It doesn't mean the story is going to make any sense. It doesn't mean it's going to catch your interest or be worthwhile. Look at these titles here. Starting March 2019, Echoes of Reality. Update 1, The Evolving World. Update 2, Stronger Together. Wow, where did we hear that before? Another tagline from this wonderful... It's just like, what are you doing? Like, unleash your power, like, with my gun. Okay, great. Stronger Together, The Cataclysm. Again, another thing they mentioned in the video. It's just like, there's no new nouns. There's no new ideas. There's no new lore. It's just, okay, sure, whatever. Triumph as one. I thought you had to unleash your power and you're stronger together. Triumph, okay. All right, yeah, seamless and intelligent. Yeah, seamless and intelligent. Okay. Quickly and easily. Well, maybe if they solve the bugs, yeah, I guess maybe it will be seamless and intelligent. Powerful, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, okay, great. Exosuits, thanks, we know. Customize, yep. Explore an evolving world, yep. It's beautiful. Game Awards trailer, da-da-da. Oh, they have the 2 trailers. Yeah, just like, this doesn't really sell me. It doesn't sell me. Maybe it sells you. Maybe you'll try it. Good on you. Tell me what the story's about. I have no idea. All right, so here's the last thing we're going to go over if you have your attention still, or I have your attention still. So here we have Bioware writer finished his story work before Bioware departure. Drew Karpatian again leaving Bioware. Some gamers were that was abandoning his work. I'm guessing there wasn't that much work to do. It's like, oh, Drew, thanks for the premise. We'll run with it. Hudson has wrapped up his work on the project. It was not a spur of the moment. His work was completed. So either Drew is just amazing and he had no arguments, which is pretty rare in Bioware because, as we know, these projects are all collective efforts. Everyone has a say, and writers are good like that way. They'll take any idea and run with it. That doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be a good story. It just means that they're open to suggestion. So, here we go. March 11th last year. This was wrapped up last year in March, which arguably is a good thing. So the planning was figured out a while ago. But Anthem's lead writers and their teams continue to do amazing work developing the world. So they're still adding to the content of the world. So that's nothing bad. But we're kind of curious when he was brought on and how long his work actually was. No one can blame him, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, Mike Laidlaw, fine. Aaron Flynn, yep, another guy. Yep, David Gator, another guy. Again, nothing wrong with this. That doesn't mean anything bad. They're just writers and developers and project managers, creative directors, just, finding better jobs. If we could put it in the nicest way possible. Just to be aware. And no, we will never get another KOTOR 3. We just won't. EA has a license. So, yeah, sort of, that's one of the bad stories about Anthem. Here's the last one. And this is the most important to me. No, I do not have ad blocker. Sorry, let me just bring this up again. Here we go. Okay. Everything you need to know about the Anthem story. So naturally, a title like this caught my attention. This is very important information. So here we have Kathleen Rootsert. I think she was doing Andromeda.
Yes, she was one of the lead writers of Andromeda.
And Jay...
One of three.
Right. And Jay Watamanuk was also writer on Mass Effect 3. So these guys aren't newbies. The thing is, when I read that, I know a Preston Watamanuk, and he's been one of the oldest developers on Bioware since KOTOR. And he's been there all the time. So I'm like, for a name like that, it's got to be a family member, or this is one hell of a coincidence.
Well, the Bioware's very key with that. Like they'll have like his wife is a writer at Bioware as well.
Right.
So it's very. You got even Hapla. She's married to one of the employees at Bioware. There may be a bit of a nepotistic kind of thing. Like, I'm not sure whether that's common in that kind of industry or.
Well, sure. Yeah. If you know a guy who's good, you say, "I know this guy." That's pretty common.
But when he's like, "I know this guy," who is it? It's my wife.
Yeah, and this could be any. I didn't go into the background to research their. I don't care. But with a name like that, you're like, okay, that's definitely someone's related, unless there's a lot of Polish fellows or whatever
you need
background.
To give her a job, or she'll keep hitting me.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And he's a writer, so obviously he was a writer on Mass Effect 3. They know him. They brought him back. That's fine. But when you actually read this stuff, it's like, okay, we know this. Like nothing new. Okay, there's a region called Bastion. This is a region. It's not a city, it's a region. So there's a province or whatever. So Fort Tarsus was there. North of Bastion. Strahlheim. Okay, a bit German or Slavic. That place is owned by Dominion. Okay, so there's Dominion north of us. Great. We got some general locations going. Good. And of course,
I think the bad guys, the Dominion, should be called Minions, so that way you can have the Dominion Minions.
The Dominion Minions.
I'm very childish.
Okay, so Tarsus is the chick with the sword in one of those DLC things we saw videos. Legion of Dawn. And all this happened 500 years ago. Okay. So chick with sword and exosuit or wherever happened 500 years ago. So there's a time skip between whatever's happening now and whatever happened in the past. So in 500 years, you have 500 years ago, you had guys in exosuits with swords and guns and you could fly in the air and do whatever. There's all this artifacts, shaper relics, whatever you want to call them. They were there. Go 500 years in the future, today. What's changed? Nothing. There is no difference. Now that they're not wielding swords anymore, apparently. Maybe hammers, something like that.
Legends, things like that. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if we had Iron Man running around in our U.S. military, and in 500 years in the future, we still only had Iron Man running around with no advancements in any area of science. Something's wrong. Like this is one of those things like in science fiction that it's like, wait a second. You're telling me we have artifacts that are alien to us 500 years ago and we've learned nothing? We haven't advanced technology at all? And this is why I go back to my favorite science fiction story, which is Roadside Picnic, where within the span of 2 years, there were all these advancements in science. There were all these, and people were still rummaging through those crash sites looking for alien artifacts and trying to figure out what they do and how they change the laws of physics. It's a big deal. So for this, like this is scary to me. This is a big red flag. And for a writer to say this, Mr. J, not Preston, is like, whoa. Like time skips are usually a bad tool, but 500 years?
It's like we made the first exosuit, and then for a long time nothing happened, and now we're
Yeah, that's the summary. Something happened 500 years ago, someone died, and now we're today. It's like, what? Okay, one of the chief tools that was developed at that time was the first ever javelin suit. Okay, so they developed them, great. Using a variety of tech and a secret underground, they were able to put together a suit that, while maybe it didn't level the playing field, at least gave humanity a fighting chance against this group. Cool. And so she's this hero. The Dominion are also heirs to Tarsus, who was after General Tark died. It's like, okay. Again, it's a very weak setup. Yeah, all we got was a DLC video. And we didn't even...
That was just a texture pack, really, wasn't it? It wasn't like Yeah, see, someone actually brought up Warhammer 40k there, and it's true. The reason why Warhammer 40k, the technology has regressed is because, well, first of all, a lot of the stuff was actually based on the standard construct templates. And... like a lot of that information's been lost throughout time because humanity's like fallen constantly, and humanity in general kind of like is very, I won't say anti-technology, but they kind of look at technology with an aura of superstition because it's like brought so many bad things about them. Obviously you got the Mechanicus who view things differently, but that's another side. But people generally are very aware, or at least humanity in general is very wary of huge technological changes, especially if it's like alien based and things like that, so they're very superstitious around it.
Right.
At least that's the general thing.
And what it looks like is all these really powerful relics, they're so dangerous that they just annihilate anyone that comes near them. So I'm guessing that's the case. Like someone finds a relic, it's like, great, let's start figuring this out. They build a city around it, and then boom, they do something wrong with it, it annihilates everyone. And that keeps repeating because there's no records because they get destroyed or whatever the case may be. So that might explain a few things. That might explain why nothing's really changed. Or rather, because of that explosion, people have been downgraded in their technology. And then they start to learn, and they get closer and closer, and they finally get back to the same level. This is actually a really strange episode of The Outer Limits, okay?
Yeah.
This is one of the explanations why we don't have aliens.
You remember the Doctor Who episode where they go to the Daleks' home planet?
No, I don't.
Right. I think I may have got this wrong, but there is actually a planet that the Doctor goes to, and the war has been going on for that long that they don't have the resources to produce the high-end technology anymore now. So they're literally fighting with like bolt-action rifles because that's their only technological capacity. So even though their suits look really advanced, their weaponry is actually like ill-advanced to fight.
They've used all the nukes.
Yeah, they basically use up all their technology. to try and find that's how long the war's been going on for. That'd be kind of interesting. Like they've just ran out of everything, you know?
Yeah, like so these sorts of explanations, they leave a lot of details out, and you need details, especially in a futuristic science fiction world with Iron Man running around and doing whatever. So Anthem and the Shapers exist together. Okay, it's probably safe to say that the people of this world don't necessarily know which came first. That's not what ran through my head, but okay. The unfinished world of Anthem was the Shapers trying to work with the Anthem creation. All right. And the Anthem will not be contained. It's like, okay. Well, is it trying not to be? Is it a will of its own? We don't know. What is the Anthem? Like, no one is like, is it a thing? Is it a piece of music? Is it a logical sequence of math that blows stuff up? Like, what? Okay, whatever.
There's actually one of the Stalker games, Shadow of Chernobyl, where they have the monolith, and it's actually a big lie to get people to make sure they don't actually uncover the secrets of the Chernobyl power plant, of the experiments that they're doing. So anyone who actually goes near the monolith kind of ends up becoming brainwashed by it. You know, like they basically turn into a servant of the, I think they call it the Sea Conscious or something like that. You know, but it's kind of like, basically it's a big lie. And it's just a facade to kind of hide the overall thing as to what they're doing, the experimentation as to what they're doing in there.
Yeah, that sounds very reminiscent of Roadside Picnic. And if you don't know, Roadside Picnic was the inspiration
I think Stalker is based off
Stalker, Metro. Of course, there's a movie, Roadside Picnic as well, which is loose adaptation of the book. So this was a very classic Russian novel or novella. And yeah, it's the same idea. There's artifacts out there that will mess up with your mind.
You've got like all these crazy changing things, like gravity distortions, lightning, fire, and it's
exactly
just like, whoa, what?
Exactly, you got it. So it's this, and I think that's a great premise. I'm glad that Anthem is hopefully going in that direction, but it's not really clarifying. Like they just gave the names Shapers and Anthem of Creation. Is like, great, okay. And now we have the Heart of Rage. So I'm thinking there's going to be a whole bunch of these things that have these generic names, very similar to Roadside Picnic, where it's like sparklers. It's like, what is that? It's just this rod that if you ring it, it generates a lot of heat. And you're like, how does it, like, you don't know how it does it. And some sparklers work. Some sparklers are really great. Some sparklers don't work at all. And that's what I think it's going to be. You're going to find these artifacts, and they're going to have weird names, and they... Like every month's going to be a new artifact.
The heart of rage, the stomach of indigestion,
yeah,
the liver of intoxicity.
Like that might be cool. Like imagine if you were playing in a world of Roadside Picnic. You'd just be there are several factions. You know, some of them are stalkers, some of them aren't, and you join whatever you want, and you try to get cool stuff and sell it. Like that would be part of the whole process. The problem with, of course, the story is that there really is no protection once you go into the danger zones. It's just like you're screwed.
There's a big picture of like a big as you're scrolling down there, a big like dude, a big like looks like a big javelin guy in stone.
Oh, this dude. Yeah. What is that? Colossus.
Yeah.
Like the literal Colossus of Rhodes, not the Colossus. Okay, so investigating. Yeah, so the site called the Heart of Rage. Here, someone has been tampering. Again, we don't know how you're we don't know what this thing is. So how are they tampering with it? But the inscrutable alien tech has a will of its own.
That's
Everyone dies. Anthem gives birth to a cataclysm which continues to eat the world around it and churn and become bigger. So it eats the world and makes it bigger. All right, whatever.
Oh, so basically there's a hole in the fade. There's a fade in. It's growing daily, and you have to stop it and restore it
with bullets.
With bullets, yeah.
Or waiting for your nuke to cool down.
Yeah. we have to build a big giant cork and called the
Or-
Crucible, and you have to try and dock it with.
Yeah. Oh God, no. Please, no. Please, no. Do not do that, Bioware. We made a ship for the first time. What are we gonna do? We're gonna ram it in that hole in the sky. It's like, no.
But you know, with Bioware's sound direction, just going to be, and that.
We could get a whole bunch of interceptors, turn on their ultimate, and have them just plug the hole.
Yeah.
They'll be invincible. It'd be perfect. They're fine. Okay, so the Dominions has expansionist empire, even though they blew up a city. Do we like the Dominion? Because the Dominion are part of Fort Tarsus, so it's like, all right. Do we hate them? Are they bad guys? Technically, the antagonist is but one of any number of monitors who have developed some measure of affinity for the Anthem, but the capital M monitor of the game's critical path is a fearsome...
Capital M monitor.
This capital M monitor. One of a kind is comparable to a general or field marshal. He has troops, he has resources. And what he does is sort of up to him. Okay. Not in charge of the Dominion. Okay, so he's just like a high-ranking military leader. Which is kind of obvious, but fine, okay. Yeah, enemies, yeah, you shoot stuff. Inside the fort, yeah, we know. There's really not much. Character critical path is Fae, a cipher can telepathic commune with free. Okay, this is new. We have telepathy.
Oh, yeah, I think that was. Yeah, I think that's the reason how that cipher check, the one with the Guinan outfit.
No.
Yeah, that's the only way I can describe it. Sorry,
I didn't even think of that. Black woman who could read your mind. Oh, okay.
At least Guinan was awesome. In actual fact, to be fair, Guinan should have been the ship's counselor rather than Troy. You know,
this was what she was. She was Troy's counselor. Everyone would go to the bar and she'd listen to her. It's like, should we listen to the several million-year-old immortal being over here who's tending bar and gives you a drink and listens to all your problems, or maybe the crazy emotional woman who can't figure out what to do with you by stating the obvious? I don't know. In the very first mission, going to the heart of darkness, she hears the okay, so it's a sound. Ciphers are the only ones that tune into the anthem enough because they are altered by the world, and they can hear it. Okay, so you need ciphers to find the crap. Good. I mean the anthem. They hear it like a tickle, and it becomes like catnip or like heroin.
Oh God.
Okay, that's why they're in Fort. They want to be as close as possible to, because they're gonna they're gonna get aroused or get high, so they need another fix.
Yeah, we're gonna have to like kick down the door of the bathroom. We're gonna find a light with a cassette, and it's like, shut up, you're not my dad.
I want to listen to the anthem some more. So
come on, man, just one more lyric.
So more lyrium. So Faye's journey is about being conflicted, wanting to go back and hear the Anthem of Creation again, and at the same time, the ciphers that were along in that first mission were on the other end. You know what? I'm gonna give this to you guys to read because I'm like, this is boring me, and I'm sure if you really wanted to follow that, you can do so yourself. It's just one of those things that you have to read yourself and figure out what the hell is going on here. And we can only figure this out by getting a freaking interview by the two writers when we're less than, I guess, 2 weeks away. Well, yeah, it's just like Faye's journey, not your journey, Faye's journey. We're just in the way. And interestingly enough, she's a cipher whereas you're just a cipher, or your player character is a cipher for you. She's an actual cipher. It's like, ooh, so so ironic.
It's basically like how Reapers do indoctrination. He's like, oh no, please don't.
So while they're trying to keep their minds together and guide their teams, people were dying, and the ciphers were just barely holding on to reality. Okay. Jones repeated and completed her journey over the course of the story is very much about coming to terms with this drive and what it means for her as a human being and as a partner on a team. So she can't go into a mech, but you can, for whatever reason. And I'm thinking, hey, here's an idea. Why don't we get to play as Faye? And we get in the mech, and we go explore. But nope, we can't. We're just generic shooting guy. Because then everyone would be a telepath in this strange sort of multiplayer game. And we can't have that, because everyone would be special. And that wouldn't make any sense.
Well, they could have said that, only the ciphers can actually operate the javelins because they are the ones that have a connection to actually understand. Like, the machine is kind of alive, like it has a will but doesn't have a desire. The desire is only imprinted upon that of the user.
You might have an affinity for a certain javelin more.
I was thinking of, like, in Stargate Universe, you have the Destiny, and it doesn't really. It has a mind, but it doesn't have a desire. It's just kind of doing its own thing.
Yes, it's
like
an
that's
AI
what it's kind of
guided to survive and keep alive and keep people alive, but there's no, like, it doesn't know if the water is pure. It doesn't know if the sun is the best. It just knows the sun. It's like,
yeah, something like that. Like, the machine is kind of like aware that you exist, but you can only talk to it if you are a cipher.
I think if you were able to choose your class, not your class, but your background, and like you might have been Fade touched or Anthem touched or whatever the hell this thing is.
Cipher fingered.
Cipher-ish. Or maybe you were like the military jock guy who just likes guns. I mean,
the meat, just the sack of meat is just like he's literally just two steaks and a gun.
Slab bulkhead. Yeah. I think that's what the Ranger is. He's just the do everything shoot gun guy. Whereas the Colossus is like, I'm just big gun guy, the heavy gun guy.
If the range is like a steak, the Colossus is like a big leg of the Interceptor's a chicken breast, and the Storm's a fish steak, a fish fillet.
Yum. How delicious.
There you go. Put me on your marketing team. I'll save you $1 million.
Yes. Okay, so we have this other dude, the not Mexican man, Haluk, haunted by the great losses at the heart of rage, also plays a key role in the Freelancer's player-driven story. How is it a player-driven story if you've given us key roles of 2 other characters? What? He starts out as the hotshot freelancer everybody looks up to, but then he goes into this horrible dark place, and you have a falling out with him. Okay. So his drive.
I think his first mission, he kind of unfortunately said this ages ago, whereby you're the reason why he can't get into a suit anymore. And so there's supposedly going to be a bit of animosity between you and him.
Oh my God, really?
Yeah.
That's amazing. Bravo, Bioware, you got some conflict already.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Like, that's brilliant. Compared to what we've been given, that's pretty brilliant over the years. I mean, it's like, holy shit. A character who doesn't like you but is also your friend. Oh, that's pretty amazing. Gotta hand it to them. Paying these writers, you're worth it. So we're spending a lot of time developing the city as a kind of character. There's a lot of stories going on. I hope he means actual stories and not just quests. Please find my ring. My freelancer husband lost it. He's the last thing I have.
God.
Also, get me 10 elf fruit. Uncertain.
Sorry.
What? This is a world that is based around the uncertainty of what their next problem is? What? What is that? Like...
Is that English? How does one English?
This is a world that is based around the uncertainty of what their next problem is that they have to deal with. I just... To me, that means we don't know what we're doing next month. We don't
Listen,
know.
I've already packed up my desk as a pre-coach.
They haven't paid me to write chapter 3 yet. I don't know. It happens to be a big one. The Dominion coming in and wanting to try and use the Anthem for their own means. Didn't we already see a cutscene of that? Where it screwed up? Wasn't that a thing already? But this is just one chapter in a story of us trying to survive in this world. Humans are not the top of the food chain in the world at all. There are so many forces that surround us wanting to snuff us out. So, the giants eat humans?
Well, yeah, you've only got the Scars, you've got the Dominion, and you've got the general monsters of the world. Okay, so we've got 3 factions. Okay, that's it.
Right.
And 2 of those are eliminated by a big wall. Yeah.
Here we go. This is the best part of all this. We don't know what's coming tomorrow.
Is that for Bioware in general?
I don't know if that means the in-game characters, the actual studio, or him like
I think this is a cry for help, and like he's trying to like push his CV somewhere, you know.
Well, he's a writer, so you gotta deal with the reality that you don't know what your next story is going to be or what you're going to be working on next.
True.
But holy crap, man, that was, I mean, there's more content we can look at for Andromeda. I think that's enough for today or for the week. Lots of mixed messages, faulty advertising, as per usual. If Andromeda was any example, I mean, Anthem is following it. Just, you're defenders of a city. No, you're not. You're not the main character. You're just a guy with a gun in an exosuit of your choosing. That's it. You do things for other people so they could have their story develop, as opposed to you being the main character and having your story develop. It's such a weird way of doing storytelling with a multiplayer component. There's lots of ways of doing it.
Yeah. One of the best ways that I've only ever seen a story, I use the word story in very in the loosest possible terms, but as kind of like how when I played Stalker or some of the games like Armor and what have you, where a story would naturally emerge just by the encounter of what happened, and that was your story. That's kind of how MMOs used to do it, like before they did the whole cutscene malarkey and what have you. It would be about, yeah, you were fighting monsters and whatnot, and then suddenly a random monster pops up or a patrol came around, and then that encounter became kind of your story, and you kind of tell it to other people, and it kind of become like a bit of a legendary thing. Or like how in EVE Online, how people have infiltrated other factions and corporations and what have you, and like, you know, brought them down from the inside. That's kind of the story of an MMO. Is the story is your story about your personal encounters, not a bespoken one. That's kind of like, yeah, it's already pre-told, predestined.
But they've already said that with Mass Effect, and this is your story. So it's like, all right, well, we can't use the same tagline.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, wait a second, Shepard is my story? No. Also an Anthem? Really? No, can't be. So it's looking weak. Again, we don't have enough information. What we were given in that...
We're only, 2 weeks away from launch? It's like...
They're going to have a second launch trailer, or a pre-launch trailer, or whatever they call it, the release day trailer, whatever they want.
Gone Gold trailer.
Yeah, something like that. And there's going to be all these sales the next week because no one's buying. Buy now trailer. 25% off trailer. DLC trailer. The pink hot Valentine's Day. Oh my God, they're going to go nuts with holidays. And special events. There's going to be turkey. You're going to be putting a turkey on your head for a helmet. All Christmas hats. Just stupid shit. 'Cause that's the market they're going for. They're going for the guys who want a raid boss, a world boss, an event-driven online MMO with these limited bosses to fight, loot drops, all that crap. It's just, no. If that's what they want, that's where the money is. I'm not saying it's bad. It's just, that's not what Bioware has been.
It's kind of like I say that, and Apex Legends come out, but it's like if you're going to do let's say a battle royale, then you really have to kind of come out with something really different. And Anthem, I feel that is 3 years out of date. If this would have came out 3 years ago, it would have been a direct competitor to Destiny, and I reckon it would have done a lot better. But Bioware tend to mess around too much in their development cycle for whatever reason.
This is true. Yeah, fortunately.
And I kind of got the feeling that they were trying to make something work. They couldn't make it work. Realized, oh dear Lord, we've only got 2 years left to make something, and just cobbled this together up as some kind of salvage. Because this did have reportedly trouble development as well. Like it was, oh dear God, we can't get this to work. We kind of get it to work though, I guess.
Well, that was Anthem. That was, slamming the thing together and hoping for the best. Or sorry, that was Andromeda. Anthem is...
No. There was reports from Edmonton, of them saying, of developers going to... It was like a Kotaku article, actually. Them saying, yeah, we're getting really scared now because they literally put, Andromeda only used elements from Edmonton and Austin. Edmonton is using majority of Austin and the entirety of the Edmonton group. Like they've had to drop Dragon Age because of this. Like they just stopped all development on that and no, we have to get this out right now. So It's all hands on deck for this.
Yeah, no, it's going to be like that for the next month and a bit on release until it's stable, until it's reasonable. They have their release schedule. Like they're going to have a dedicated team just on Anthem for releasing builds, for building levels for events, and whatever the cataclysms are, we have no idea. But if they're doing monthly, like they said, daily, weekly, and monthly events, that's a lot of work. And I don't know if they're going to find the money to constitute that kind of team, because you're talking about making a new level at least once a month. Like that's the why else would you have this sort of production schedule? How else could you do it? You would have to have a new level mapped out, 3D real-time action adventure shoot 'em up game every month. That's a lot of work compared to I see a new level once a week on Brave Exvius, which is 2D sprite map. You're just running around picking up chests and fighting random encounters. Like that's the same game engine. You don't do much. But that's a game that has the RNG. It has all this. It's hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands, of just characters you can collect. It's obscene, but it's like tens of millions, if not like 50 million people downloads. It's just like it's crazy. It's huge. It's all free. So with a 3D real-time 4-person co-op online looter shooter, it's like it's a lot of resources to make a new enemy or a new AI or a new loot drop, and it's just going to be all about that percentage, and you're going to get people get pissed off because it didn't drop, which is insane. People can be grinding for hours and I didn't get anything. I spent 2 weeks. It's like, what?
Well, the worst thing as well is that because the way how the expeditions work, if let's say you're in the middle of the expedition, you get disconnected from, because it's all on EA servers as well.
Yeah.
If you get disconnected on the expedition, you lose everything. It's gone. So if let's say you picked up a really rare drop and you get disconnected, it's gone. It's not in your inventory or anything like that. It's gone. So you'll be even more el bugado about that.
I'm wondering if they can do, I doubt they will because it's always online, what's referred to as re-rolling. There's a lot of online games where, because of the random nature of getting, like you spend your you're not money, but you spend the in-game loot to randomly generate equipment or 5-star or 6-star or 7-star units, and it's all random. That's what the RNG factor is. And they have this culture of people re-rolling. They just constantly reset their game, re-log in. They didn't record the entry, and you just try again. And if it doesn't get what you want, just keep doing it and doing it and doing it.
Anthem doesn't really have that, because Anthem doesn't really have skill trees or anything like that. So there's no need to re-roll, like, at all.
Right. So it's all just random pickups. So after you do your mission, it's like, oh, we got something. There's nothing to re-roll. You just pick it up and hope for the best when you get back to base.
Yeah, that's not great. Like you say, it's just like compared to the very first trailer where you actually saw the weapon being, and now it's just like, yeah, you can't equip that. You have to equip. That's just dumb. That's basic. That's Billy basic.
That's the sad thing, because in the first trailer we had, it's like you had the anger, was it the Storm of Anger, whatever the hell, the
Jara's Wrath or something.
Jara's Wrath, yeah, something like that. It was like, all right, it's a gun, and you see it. It's like, oh, we know what it is. And does she equip it as soon as she finds it?
Yeah, you had to pick it up, have a toy around with it. Nope, not in this game. You have to go back to base to equip a weapon. Like, why?
Yeah, and you don't even know what it is. It's like, okay, why did you change that? What if I see a weapon I always wanted and it's on the ground? Great, I was looking for that. I don't know until I get back to base. I'm going to be really disappointed, or I'm going to be really happy. And it's like, why are we holding off? Why not just show us instantly? So I don't have to keep going, because maybe there's more to the raid, but maybe that item only drops there in that part of the raid. So I just go back and try again. Why waste my time?
Yeah, it's because it doesn't really help as well, because they've got these huge open areas. The AI is really, really basic. Like, it makes, like, this is like Mass Effect 1 level of AI, but with larger levels for obvious reasons. And you just, like I say, you're just going through the motions of grinding for it all. And the amount of times where I've seen enemies actually just looking at me and they weren't even firing was quite hilarious. Because it was like, oh, hi, here to see me. And then they were dead. And they don't even have like an animation of appearing out of the portals. They literally just spawn. Or in actual fact, what is even more funny is that if you move too far away from the group, the game won't actually spawn. It'll actually de-render enemies in front of you. Because the game's like, no, we can't register that. You're too far away from the group.
Yeah.
As Borderlands 2, or Borderlands had that, didn't even have that.
If this is using seemingly Mass Effect Andromeda mechanics, is there a cover mechanic as well?
No, there is no cover mechanic whatsoever.
You're just running around and dodging and jumping and flying around.
You just have to rely on your natural dodge mechanic itself, which is really funny because it actually interrupts a lot of things. So you can't reload, you can't fire at the same time. At least I couldn't anyway with the Ranger. It might just be my mouse derping out, which has been happening a little bit. So that could be it. But I couldn't fire while dodging, which you could actually do in Andromeda, if I recall.
Jeez, I'm kind of curious why they took out all these staples of, like, you look at other looter shooters like the Division. There's all kinds of cover, like that's the whole game is cover mechanics, and how you properly get flanked, and it's like, yeah, you want to use defensive positions properly, and if you're just constantly jumping around, flying around, it's like, okay, well that's good. But can you maybe get behind this giant piece of steel that you might feel safe? It would be nice. As opposed to that block of wood that's invincible too.
Well, the other thing as well is just that there's a complete lack of ammunition types. Like, once again, I can't believe I'm saying this, but Mass Effect 1 actually has better shooting mechanics just to the natural talent of you can equip different types of ammunition into your gun. Like you could have weapons that could shoot through shields, or at least have a chance to go through shields but do less damage. You had incendiary, you had toxic rounds, you had piercing rounds that were good against synthetic. This is just generic bullet and then just hit it with everything, all of your abilities, and that's it.
Yeah, I remember the details in Metal Gear Solid 4. You could actually tell which shoulder to put the butt of your gun on. You could it was very control. Like, of course, you could strafe, you could go prone. You could roll around on the ground. You could do all kinds of crazy maneuvers. But that was a spying stealth game. So there's no other mechanic here aside from shooting and jumping and running and flying. It's just those are your options. And I'm thinking, you know what? If you're in a giant mech, can you do some strategy? Can you have some basic tactic? Anything? Like, if you had a cover, maybe stick your robotic arm out of the side and fire a gun so you're safe.
Yeah. The worst part about it is I actually decided to replay through Warhammer Space, which is Relic's very first attempt at actually making a third-person shooter. And they nailed it. This is their first attempt at making a third-person shooter, and they nailed it. They nailed the melee combat. They nailed the shooting in it. It was a bit repetitive, don't get me wrong, and it was full of the tropes of having third-person shooters like turret segments and things like that. But this was their first attempt. Bioware is on their 5th attempt at making a shooter, and they still can't get things right. This is worrying for me. If I was a developer, I'd be like, what on earth are you doing? Like, how can you not understand the basics of like anything?
Well, it comes to me that they're just looking at other games and going, oh, Gears of War did this. We can do that. It's like, well, you did, but you watered it down so badly that it's not even comparable. You look at Dragon Age Inquisition. It's like, oh, it's like, well, it's not even like the open world concept from Bethesda, but it's like, no, 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 you guys didn't do the same thing. I'm sorry, you got it wrong. So it's like they're just sort of latching on to other popular games and going, yeah, we can do Skyrim for sure. It's like, no, you can't. Maybe it was a good idea, but you just can't. Like, do what you're good at. That's why we buy your games, Bioware. We don't buy them because you want to be like Bethesda or you want to be like whomever. It's because you have a dialogue wheel. You invented the dialogue wheel. You got better at it in Mass Effect 3, and it was all downhill from there. Go back to making a better dialogue wheel with branching dialogue, and we will replay your game at least twice. That's it. That's all you gotta do. You don't even need shooting. Just sell a game for $10. Purely make it I don't care, a drama, make it a dating sim. Doesn't matter. Make it like Telltale Games. Just dialogue. Let's see how good you do. If you can tell a good story, then I'll say, you know what, Bioware? You know how to do a story game. Now what I want to see you go back to your roots and say, okay, let's do some RPG mechanics. Let's do some shooting. Let's do some melee. I don't know, turn-based. Pick one. I don't care. Let's see what you can do. But keep the dialogue as you have in the previous games. That's it.
You know what they're going to do? They're going to do something like that. They're thinking like, oh yeah, that was like a proof of concept. And it was never added into the game. It wasn't feasible. It's like, then why did you show it off in a trailer?
Was that Shadow something? That crazy 4-player multiplayer game they had all that advertising for.
Yes. Oh, I've forgotten what it was called now, but yes, it got cancelled.
Yeah. It was like, wow, it's another 4-player, the same idea as Anthem. You're running around with a bunch of people. I'm sure you're collecting loot of some sort to get stronger. It's not just experience points. Oh, what the hell is it? I can't remember. But yeah, it was something like that, and it's like it got canceled. It's like, why? What was the problem? It was like their version of X-Men or something. Oh boy. Anyway, we've been rambling for almost 3 hours now. I think it's time to call it a day. But guys, thanks a lot for tuning in. Any new information you got on Anthem or Bioware or any other games that catch your fancy, throw them in the comments once this video is baked. Leave it on the discussion page. And as always, this is Smudboy and UDP. Thank you for your time.